Looks like I'm living rent-free in your heads again, huh? I mean, if you're gonna spend your days obsessing over me, you might as well start calling me something respectable. Maybe Daddy Shizzy, or better yet, Papa Nut. Who's the grown-up here? Alright, it's me. Let's go. Call me Daddy, yeah, that's who I am. Running your mind's like a master plan. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, take your pick. I'm overeating your thoughts while you still act sick. Call me Daddy, it's what you mean. Want to chase the crooks and I take the lead. Living rent-free, that's my name. Go ahead, say it, put some respect on the name. Man, I'm too old, well here's a surprise. I'm the one with the brains while you're stuck with the lies. You act like you're experts, but here's the reality. I'm the one controlling your mental reality. So while you're out there trying to throw shade, I'm sipping coffee and you're feeling betrayed. You're mad, I got the spotlight, now it's my time. So why not call me Daddy or Papa with a rhyme? I'm the landlord and you're just the tenants, stuck in your headspace with no insight, no repentance. Call me Daddy, you know it's true. You'd be lost without me, stuck in the glue. Call me Daddy, I'm holding your mind while you're scrambling, trying to find what's behind. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, don't you see? You're living in my world now, I'm the VIP. Call me Daddy, just let it be. While you're trying to figure out your own identity. Oh, I see you're confused, trying to get it right. Spinning your wheels while I'm out of sight. You think you've got it figured, but you got it all wrong. I've been running your minds all along. But sure, keep pretending you don't care. Keep saying you're done, but I'm still in the air. You got no choice but to bow to my name. Daddy Shizzy is here to own the game. You say you don't watch, but you're obsessed. Every word I say puts you to the test. Call me Daddy, Papa Nut, you know you should. Because I've been living rent-free, and you know it feels good. Shizzy Daddy, owning your headspace, and there's no escape. Good luck with that.
Had myself muted, didn't even know. Good evening, everybody. Let's try that again. Man, oh man, oh man, what a beautiful evening it is going to be. Yes, I planned on 11, but I moved it up just about an hour. So Diva might be a little bit late getting here. It's okay. It's okay. It'll be just fine. It'll be just fine. Interact with you lovely, lovely people for just a little bit. How have you been doing? How have you been doing? Oh my gosh. I and let's bring in the most lovely, the gorgeous, the one, the only. There's only one person that could make this place the most perfect chill place that you could ever find. She's got a voice like you've never heard before. She makes you just enjoy life so much.
That's quite the lead in, because you're
Yes.
about to disappoint several people.
Oh, well, no, you're fine. You're fine. No, I moved it up to
You
about
did.
10 because I wanted to make sure that you had ample opportunity to be able to
What's
get some
funny
rest.
is I had my alarm set. I was gonna take a nap, and I just kept laying there and kept laying there. I was like, man, I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. But I had my alarm set for 10:30 to wake me up, to be ready.
So it's
it
gonna
was a
go off
good
at
thing.
10:30.
It will. It's gonna go off at 10:30. So it's a good thing that I didn't go to sleep. And yeah. Good times.
Yes. Did you have a good day today, Diva? Knowing that tomorrow is New Year's.
Everything feels so, I don't know. It feels weird.
And
holidays.
somebody explain this, because you've got Thanksgiving that sort of happened on a weekday, of
Yep.
course. And then you have that weekend, then it's just like everything's sort of in a flurry for
Yeah.
Christmas. And then
Yeah.
Christmas hits on a weekday. And
Mhm.
then of course you hit that weekend, and then all of a sudden you're having another holiday right in the
Yeah.
middle of the week. So
Yeah. Yeah. And Thanksgiving was so late this year because it's the fourth Thursday of every November.
yeah.
So it happened so late in the month, and then bam, Christmas.
Yep.
I don't know, but I've made popcorn for the drama. You
There is
know,
plenty of drama.
there's
We
yeah,
have that.
there's some popcorn here. So I think I'm ready. I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be chill. I mean, we're pretty relaxed over here. We
Thank
don't
God.
stress over this stuff.
I might go to sleep.
Well, you won't go to sleep. Well, what can I say?
Oh, well, yeah.
Sometimes that other man,
Leave them so satisfied they just go to sleep.
he just pass right out. Well,
Pass
that
right out.
Benadryl really helps out a whole lot. Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
That's funny.
So we can actually pick up where we left off. I
Okay.
had to go back because I didn't write down where I left off. I was like, oh gosh, where were we?
Oops.
'Cause I'm so yeah, that's what I said. So I did manage to get back to where we were.
Good deal.
And it was right after you had that big interruption where
Oh yeah, that was
we're
crazy.
asking yeah, I went back and listened to it. I was like, what in the hell kind of drugs is that guy on? Can I get some of those?
Oh, it's just it's like,
'Cause he was
I need to
'cause he
object to
was
things. I haven't been objecting.
well, yeah, and he was so angered by all of this in the first place that, you're just like going, why is he all of a sudden wanting to raise these issues? Because you
Yeah.
had I mean, we're on page 41 of this deposition now. Hey guys, how's it going? Good to see you. Oh, you know what? I always forget to do this. Let's take in because I know that your time is super limited because you actually have a real life unlike the rest.
I do have other responsibilities. Yes. Yes, indeed.
So I'll let me get in here and make sure that we've got this thing set up. So what we'll do is 10 super chats, blah blah blah. We'll set that for
Super chats.
yeah. So
Sweet.
the super chats, pay for equipment and crap like that,
They
which
do.
I'm in desperate need of. Let's see, how will we celebrate? Well, I'll go one more hour. Yeah, so there's no special rush on this because you will not Diva will be limited on her time, so I
Yes.
don't want to
I turn into a pumpkin.
yes she does. Gosh. Oh, and I did work a little bit more on the new intro for Sunday Spice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That was a good song.
coming along. It is a good song.
That's a very
And
good song.
if you guys haven't heard it, it's pretty smoking. It's pretty smoking.
It's very
Actually,
steamy.
I could probably play that for him. It happens.
Yeah,
to
do it.
it happens to you. Don't worry about it. I put people to sleep all the time. It sounds wrong, however. Oh, so right.
It's
Yes.
so right. It's just
Hello.
so right.
Oh yes. Let's see if I have it in here. I think no, I have it only. See, the way StreamYard works is you can set up different things. And so let me see
Yeah.
if I can get it. Yeah, there it is. So that is that the one? No, that's not the one. I think it's up here at the top. Oh yeah, this. So I'll play you guys what you might have missed out on Sunday. This is the intro for it. And if you aren't slightly turned on by it, well, I don't. Maybe drugs will help you.
Oh, I know what you want. Come feel this sensation. Sliding smooth and low like a secret invitation. So smooth. Every tone whispers soft. Can you feel it? The
That's good enough for it.
It is good. Mm-hmm.
I figured that would give them like opportunity to sort of see what exactly that was
Yeah.
all about.
I
So if
like
you
it.
guys are missing Sundays, that gets really good and
Yeah,
spicy.
if
We've
you
got
don't mind classics that have no connotation in an
we may
inappropriate manner, if you want them butchered and read provocatively, Sunday
yeah, we
Spice,
could do it. Oh my
where
gosh.
you need to be.
And I'm really looking forward to Teresa's next novel that comes
Yes.
out because
I'm very excited about that.
that's gonna be very exciting.
Yeah, because when it's really written down, I get very, very modest. I'm like, oh, those are the real words. That's not, that's not us making up stuff. Those are real words. Ooh.
Those are real words. Whew. I got the vapors.
I've got the vapors now. I can't go on.
Well, let's see. Excuse that interruption. I hope it doesn't happen again. So let's go back to where you said. So, court reporter, where were we on the on that point? The last question before I got so rudely interrupted by this asswipe.
Oh, give me just one moment.
I think it was about Miss Preston's and her not being truthful with her.
Oh, yes. It was regarding the lying from Miss Preston.
Oh, okay. So I need to ask this. That's interesting what you said. Did Miss Preston's lies to you increase over time or decrease over time or stay about the same?
Well, I would say increased over time.
And at some point, had you a falling out with Miss Preston?
I had a few of those, actually.
All right. Well,
Beginning over a year ago. The first one was over a year ago.
right. So let's go back. We will take
Way
our
back.
time. I am so fascinated by the story about Mr. Meeks. Did Miss Preston, when she said that to you, did she say when this alleged hunting trip was going to occur?
No, there weren't details about that. Just what she said was told to her.
Right. And that would be scary, right?
It was very alarming to me.
Right. So at a
I didn't.
certain point, though, Russell Meeks didn't get shot by Jeremy Hales and a bunch of hunters on a hunting trip, right?
No.
So at some point, did you ever say, Miss Preston, hey, you lying twat muffin, nothing ever happened to Mr. Meeks?
I was doing a lot of gathering at the time, actually, so I wasn't doing a lot of judgment other than my gut felt uneasy.
All right. When
I didn't take I didn't take it serious enough to well, the police had already been contacted about it and because she was just telling a lot of people the same thing. It wasn't just me.
she was telling a lot of other people that Mr. Hales was trying to kill Russell Meeks.
I believe she told the two Lees in a pod show as well because they had mentioned things about it in one of their shows and they wanted a audio clip from me. So did attorney Bruce Matskin. One of the only things he ever asked me for was an audio clip of Mary reporting this to the police department because she was told the same thing.
Oh, you're saying Mary DeGroot?
Yeah, she was told the same thing by Michelle Preston, sorry.
Yeah, let's just call her Twat Muffin or Miss Preston because there's so many names
I'm sorry.
and aliases.
I'm sorry.
It's easier, all right? Have you had any interactions with, Mary DeGroot?
I I don't, my journalistic conversations with any of the others. I don't really want to mix into this because
Well, you can say why, it's okay. Mhm.
sorry, I feel protective over them. I was advocating for them, so I don't really want to.
Well, I'm just trying to it's all about more like Miss Preston, but do you know if,
Very brief. Only very briefly with Mary.
very briefly with Mary, it sounds like a hot threesome. Okay, okay. So we have this first contact surrounding this story about Mr. Meeks. Eventually, obviously, the subject changes over time with you and Miss Preston, correct?
Oh, the subject went all over the place. It was overwhelming.
What? Tell me about the subject. I really want to know how it got all over everything. What? What was the next subject line that you and Miss Preston were discussing after the Russell Meeks story?
It seemed like all the subjects were just coming in at me like boom, 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 boom. Like it was nonstop. Lord, I apologize. I apologize. Lord, I apologize.
Oh,
The words, they just come off the page.
they do.
They
Multiple
do.
times.
Come, just lots of overwhelming,
Everywhere. Just boom, boom,
all over the
boom.
place. I can't handle it. Like it was nonstop, and it's hard to remember what came first because it was just like a tidal wave coming over me of information.
Oh, and this tidal wave that you're talking about of interactions. How was it done? The majority of the time. Oh my God. Was it doggy style missionary position?
Oh, no. It was a lot of telephone, some text and telephone.
Telephone sex and sexting. I see. When did Miss Preston, when she would text you, did she ever like do an audio file?
Yes.
Speaking.
Oh, but she didn't.
Wait, let me finish. Make sure we understand. Oh, just hold on. Did Miss Preston, when communicating with you over this time, did she ever make an audio file and then send you that audio file so you could play it back?
Yes.
Do you still have those audio files?
Yes.
Okay. And then how did she send those audio files to you then?
Messenger.
Facebook Messenger? Did a little man show up in a funny hat and say, Telegram?
Hey, I've got a telegram here for you. You ready to open it up?
You gotta open this thing up.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that Miss Preston is now saying that accusing you of using artificial intelligence or AI to mimic her voice?
Well, she won't be able to prove that because I have concrete evidence.
Oh, so you aware, or did you just shoot?
Well, I heard it on that show that is slandering me up and down, defaming me and threatening me for even coming to this deposition.
Whoa. Whoa. shite. I'm sorry. That just jumped
Yeah.
off the page. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that.
This is heavy stuff. It's good
Yes.
that there can be some levity to it, but this is some heavy stuff.
Yeah, if you've got somebody threatening you because you're going to a deposition and are and we have seen these audio files. We've heard these audio files of the threats that have come at her over this. I mean, she is scared because they not only have they threatened her livelihood, but doxing her, going after her, saying these are all lies, don't believe a word that she says, everything that she says is hearsay. We have stuff on her. Look at what we're going to do to her if she talks about this, if she brings any of this up in the deposition. Oh, it's nothing but lies. Don't believe a word she says. It's
Mhm.
all part of that PR campaign. And we're going to get into all of that. Well, but before we get on that, do you feel threatened by Mr. Foreskin as well? Well, for appearing here today.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that is a serious issue.
I feel
We're going to. I feel I have. Go ahead.
I feel like I have legal consequences for telling the truth in this case. Yes.
So tell us what was going to be well, sorry, that was going to be at the end, but now you've raised it. We're going to bring it up. Tell us why you fear Ducey for your testimony today.
Because he outlined for me what I can and can't do, which to me is a bit far reaching and
Anything else?
well you
Sorry.
popping up and down. No, you're good.
How's that?
Well, basically that I'll be okay if I don't, I guess, give certain information that he's claiming to be privileged.
Did he say what would happen if you still did this? Why would you not be okay?
I don't remember the exact words of I have it somewhere. I don't remember the exact words of how he said it.
Oh, okay. I'm
It
just
was in a text.
all right. And he was trying to tell you what you can and cannot say in your deposition.
What I cannot, yes. According to him, it's privileged, all privileged information, all my contact with him.
Oh, so you reached out. So he reached out to you as a lawyer, right?
Yes.
Oh, as a lawyer, right?
Yes.
So he is a lawyer, and he doesn't say he represents Miss Preston at that time, correct?
No, but he did say he was already in contact with her.
Right. But but he didn't say he was representing her as a lawyer, correct? No?
He didn't say that.
No, he withheld that if that was true, right?
Correct.
Okay. So how would you describe your relationship with that waffle then?
Well, in the beginning, I was happy that a lawyer was taking interest in her case. But at the same time, a lot of things that he was saying to me regarding the YouTube, he was pursuing the YouTube heavily in the very beginning. And I felt a bit pressured by that. And he was also wanting me to write things to the Connecticut court and to just some other things with the Connecticut court that I didn't want to do. I felt uncomfortable doing.
Well, and this also goes back to the this is part of that mac and cheese garbage that he was involved in. And so if and he this is screwed up. Like
It
this
is.
right here. I mean if a judge hears this transcription and looks at this transcription, he is going to have a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I welcome Megan Raiders. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, Song of
Sweet.
Rain. Good to hear you. Yes, sweet, sweet, sweet. Fox Raiders. Yes, welcome, Fox Raiders. This will get spicy, so just be careful.
I'll
But
try to
this
get in the
does
right frame of mind too, because I'm not quite there yet. I have to
no,
I have to
that's
ease into it.
yes, I have
Yeah.
to make sure that we don't rush that. It has to be smooth.
I have to make it very
Easy.
smooth. Yeah.
Welcome, Megan Raiders. Welcome, Megan Raiders. We are and we're happy, very happy to see you here.
Have you checked your back door, Shizzy?
Yes, I have, and my back door is just fine.
Is it locked?
Huh? Well, it's only for special occasions that we open that back door. But if I need to open that back door will let me know.
Nice. Okay. Good deal. Good deal.
Did you ever send out any documents to anyone that Ducey was sent to you that he wanted to send out in your name?
I don't think I did, but I did contact the Connecticut court to get a record for him. I'd have to go back and look at what my contact said. But he did send me emails, with the body of emails to write to them, and I felt uncomfortable with that.
Yeah. Did you ever ask him, hey, dumbass, why don't you ask for this shit yourself?
I think he was looking for a journalist or an independent journalist to look into his story at that time.
Okay.
And I was overwhelmed with this case and didn't have the time to really.
Is that are you familiar with the ethics of journalists?
Ethics of journalism?
Right. So is it fair to say that Ducey was asking you to do something that would be unethical as a journalist?
Yeah, and I wrote to him and I said, I can't do that.
Well, did the little squirrel respond to that?
I don't remember what he responded, but I'm sure because we had engaged in a lot of conversation because
I bet you
he was
did.
heavily into my messenger regarding this case.
All right.
Heavily.
Heavily.
I gotta say, I gotta comment.
Do it.
I feel like, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. I feel like she was taken advantage of. I feel like
Yes.
a lot of people can relate to this, especially if you do have a heart to want to help people. She put her in she was in a position of journalism.
Right. And trying to get information from
And
anybody.
he may have known, because she's already given her background and her education. He may have known that she didn't really have a lot of experience as a journalist and was trying to take advantage of her.
Well, and that does. And see, the worst part about this is because if you are looking for his story, okay, it is very easy to get. Yeah, Megan Fox says, I totally agree. Well, and by the way, again, welcome, Fox Raiders. Thank you so much for coming by. This is wonderful. And yes. Yeah, and if you're looking for his story, you're going to sort of ask, hey, what can I do to get the story? Where can I get this from? How do I cover this the best possible way? And if you're being fed a line of bullshit, of somebody saying, oh yeah, all you got to do is just, file these things for me. I'll get you that information, and she's saying, well, what does this have to do with any of this story that I'm looking for? And it's sort of like that purity test that people have, like politicians and stuff like that. Well, you sort of have to prove yourself to me that you're not looking to, like, do something nefarious with this story that I'm going to only give to you. I'm giving you the
Mhm.
exclusive. And she's new at this kind of thing. So, she's willing to say, yeah, I mean, I'll suck it up a little bit, and,
Yeah.
write whatever you want me to, because his writing sucks. He's an ignoramus. God. I mean, we've read through all of
We've read
his
we've read some
court
of his stuff,
filings.
and
It's
there is no logical sense with a lot of that. None.
no, there really isn't. Especially whenever all he's doing is doing a cut, copy, and paste of all of the stuff that was put in the prior pleading. It's like, make your fucking point, idiot.
Yeah. And it feels like it's just going around in circles and circles and circles. It's tangential. There's no real point to any of the points he's trying to make. If there is a seed of a point, it's so heavily mired in all the verbose language that you can't find it.
Yes. Yes. So, were you ever employed by Mr. Foreskin?
No.
Never paid you anything for your wonderful services?
Never paid me.
Okay. Didn't offer any payment?
Didn't offer any payment.
Right. And of course, he's a cheap bastard. And you found out he was an attorney for Miss Preston. Did he ever say, I'm your attorney also?
No.
So he's not your attorney, correct, Mr. Foreskin?
Oh, no.
He never was your attorney, correct? No verbal response. Okay, so when he's saying that he has a privilege, did he ever say what kind of privilege he was claiming?
He wanted me to work with him at some point as an assistant, and basically wanted me to collect information from videos and be an assistant.
Blah, blah, go, go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, isn't that's not really a legal assistance. That would just be helping in the investigation that you're doing, right?
Right. But he knew I was a journalist on the case, and he wanted me to continue doing my journalism, which was really my decision, not anybody else's, and he tried to mix the two together.
Which I have noticed he does that quite a damn bit often, where and especially whenever he reached out to me, because it was just sort of like, well, you're covering this case, and you need to be looking at all sides of it, and you don't have all the information. And I was like, I mean, what do you mean I don't have all the
It's almost
information?
like he tries to appeal to your ego
Yeah.
and your self-consciousness or self-doubt at the same time. Like, oh, you're the only one who can lead and help me in this investigative thing.
Right.
But
Well,
remember, you got to keep it quiet.
well, and that was that was what really struck me as odd whenever he reached out to me. It was just like, hey, you've got, I did this for the toothless ones, and I did this for this other person, and I did, I you need to be covering this. And I was just like, no, nobody runs
No.
my channel. I don't have anybody that comes in and tells me, oh, you need to do this, or you have to cover that, or you should be doing this, or you should be looking at this. I don't
Mhm.
have anybody doing that. I mean, like, I say things from my own perspective. If I'm reading, if I'm doing one of these readings, it's my own material. If I read the news in the morning, it's my own stuff. I don't have anybody telling me, well, you can't cover that. Well, except for
Yeah.
YouTube, they come in and say,
It's
yeah, don't be
it's your
talk about
yeah. This is your preference. You want to do this, so you do it. Nobody
right.
else is
Yeah.
dictating your preference. You have
Uh-uh.
free will.
But I guess he was looking at it as some sort of hate towards the, his client. And I'm just like, I don't,
No, it's just a matter of preference. It's nothing personal. It's just
no,
preference.
she's a public figure.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he hasn't figured out. It would be no different than me if I was covering a story about Jeremy Hales, it personally, like going and doing like a deep dive into him. It would be no different.
Yeah.
I would
Exactly.
cover it the same damn way. No different than if I was looking at the cult stuff like I used to, stream
Yes.
about.
Yeah.
It would be no different. Just going, this is what I'm seeing. This is my opinion on it, and everybody else can like piss off. Ah,
Okay.
the two together. What do you mean?
Well, my journalism and being an assistant to him.
Right. So when you're saying being an assistant to him, he never paid you?
No.
Did you ever identify yourself as an assistant of his law office?
Of his law office? No, just assisting him in collecting information. And he wanted me to assist him on YouTube videos.
Wow. I mean, I would think OnlyFans, but right. So you never assisted him in his practice of law, correct?
No, I don't have any education in law whatsoever. I'm not.
Right. So did he ever say to you, "Hey, woman, get everything we've been talking about as privilege because you're my legal assistant"?
He did say that. I believe it was somewhere, I don't remember the exact time. It could have been in June.
In June of 2024?
Uh-huh. Because he had already
Yes.
yes.
So, all right. Because why if someone reads a transcript, they say, uh-huh. You could be, uh-huh, uh-uh, uh-huh, uh-uh. So yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Very interesting indeed.
The dialogue.
So your relationship with him was, is it fair to say that it was just collaboration between an attorney and a journalist? It was nothing more. It wasn't like you were giving him back rubs on Epstein's plane or anything like that.
I'm still I'm a little verklempt over here. I'm a little verklempt. Volstorm just opened up my studio door and he was like, what did you just do? Oh dear.
She's mine now, Volstar. Where I want her.
Okay.
Oh.
For me, it was. Yeah. Yes, I
And-
will say
and-
yes.
In your experience, which I'm sure is great, in your knowledge, which is even better, as an inexperienced journalist, have you ever heard of an attorney journalist privilege?
No. How can that it contradicts each other? How can you have a journalist collecting information for a story and working? It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense to
right.
me.
Work it. Yeah.
It didn't feel right to me, but again, I was overtaken by her need for an attorney, and I didn't exactly understand everything that privilege meant in this kind of scene. How he presented himself in my messenger. It didn't make sense to me.
Why is it crooked like that? All right, all right. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And did you know that even if there was an employee of the law office that revealed something that was privileged between an attorney and a client, the responsibility falls on the attorney and not the employee. Do you know that?
I would imagine so, and I'm not a person that understands law. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal assistant. I don't understand law.
So did he ever say to you, Ducey, if you ever reveal something that I'm telling you not to reveal, there's going to be consequences for you?
Yes. I don't remember the exact words, but in text, he defined what I can and can't do.
That's not good. Right. But did he ever say what the consequences were if you didn't do what he told you to do or not to do?
I don't remember the exact words, but it's in Messenger.
No, just I don't I, I know you don't remember the words, but did you sit as you sit here today, were you thinking what might happen to you?
Basically, I was thinking basically it was I don't remember the exact words, but it's something in the effect that I'll be okay as long as I don't do this, that. So I felt very constrained. I felt
Belt.
if I felt the sense of being violated because I was a journalist on the case and collecting the case, and I felt like he came into my messenger and kind of locked me down into this. I didn't see that coming. I didn't I didn't realize what was going on there. I felt like I was manipulated.
Well, he has a way of doing that. Do you feel that foreskin strong armed you or bullied you into doing
Yeah, I feel manipulated. He yelled at me a lot. He
that sounds
demeaned me after I did that second video that I didn't want to do with Super Dave. He screamed at me because I didn't perform properly. Screamed at me, like demeaned me to the point of tears. I was crying.
I read that and I'm just like, oh my God, I didn't want to do that with Super Dave.
I didn't want to do that with Super Dave. And he screamed at me like the pimp that he was because I didn't perform properly. He screamed at me. Lord, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I see.
The
I
word.
see now. Did your opinion of that foreskin as a professional attorney increase or decrease after he started acting like a little bitch and yelling at you?
I felt intimidated, honestly, and I wanted the best for everybody in this case. I don't like to see anybody getting harmed. It's not my nature. And I felt like she was helpless without an attorney, so I was kind of caught up in that aspect. And on the other hand, I felt the sense of I felt like I was being manipulated. It got to a point where I was being screamed at by all of them. They were screaming at me. It was just
Wow, well, that's interesting. So Miss Preston also yelled at you?
oh my gosh, so many times. Yeah. And so did others in that group.
So the Lisa Weeks of the two Kankle Twins in a pod, she yelled at you also?
I've never had any interaction with her. I chose to have nothing to do with her. When I saw that what they were doing on the internet, I was appalled.
gosh. Lauren, how's it going? I'm sorry. Let me catch up on some of these super chats. Why are you and this lady reenacting our meeting? Lauren, that was
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I was a willing participant, Lauren. I will tell you. I was totally willing. You didn't have to tie me down. I would have done that without question.
He was a ready and willing participant.
I was so scared, and I feel violated. Listen to Diva. I never thought I would want a cigarette after reading it. Oh my gosh. Get a link for Megan tomorrow. Atomic bomb drop at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can't wait. Happy New Year, Shizzy. Oh, most definitely. I did catch a little bit of her Tug's stream tonight, and that is going to be the bomb diggity. I'm telling you. She's got so much information that is going to, like, I'm tuning in. Let's just put it that way. I'm tuning in because that's going to be awesome. Yeah. Shara hasn't attended college. She doesn't have a journalism degree.
Yes.
Shara is also incredibly naive. Yes, Jen.
I get a huge sense of that they manipulated her naivete to try to get what they wanted. Very,
Yes.
very, very malicious and calculated. Not, I won't say it was intelligently calculated, but there was a lot of calculation in what was going on.
Oh God, yes, there were.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much, Megan Fox and Tug, for the Fox raid. That was very, very kind of you. And Christine has been a member for 13 months. Oh, being a member here for over a year.
Oh my gosh, it has been over a year.
I've got to give her a little bit of something.
Yeah, you do.
A little bit of something. Yeah. I know the ladies love that right there. It just gets excited. Thank you so much, Christine, for being a member here for 13 months. Oh my gosh. And halfway to the goal. Thank you, Wendy Bono. Yes, there is a goal there. There is a goal there. Yes. If it hits the super chat portion of it, I will stream for another hour. You won't be required to, but I will stream for another hour.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
So, yeah, you're not required to do.
I've got my popcorn, so I can, I'm ready to go.
Welcome, Wanda Perez, member for 3 months.
Oh nice.
3 months is still really damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And need to make the goal tonight. Yeah, you guys really want to get me there, don't you? They want to keep me up late at night listening to Diva. Yeah, we already read that.
I read that one. Yeah,
and we already read that one. Thank you guys so much. We will hit that goal, and nothing drives those Kankle Twins closer to madness than whenever it hits that goal. Like, because they're just like, that they're getting upset. Because
okay, yeah.
I didn't realize this until later today. Whenever I was like, I've updated my schedule to be a little more where I can spend more time with my lovely wife, and in doing so, I'm streaming at the same time that the Kankle Twins are streaming.
Oh, well, Blue Ocean, baby.
But who watches them anyway? So does it really matter?
I don't know. All the world's a stage.
It is, and we're here to entertain and keep you guys entertained. So
that's right.
No stresses on that. And then we've got Tinkle Tits McGee. Hey, sexies.
Oh, nice.
Buddy. Tinkle Tits is pretty damn awesome.
Tinkle Tits.
Yeah. That Tinkle Tits I met on Junior's Jessica Reloaded's channel.
I feel like I've seen that name for well over a year, but not often. Like it sprinkles in, Tinkle Tits sprinkles in.
Yeah, it just comes throwing in and
it's kind of like glitter
boobies around. Hey, Wanda Perez, good to see you. Yes, we're getting it. We're getting you.
Mhm.
Chucky, where have you been, love? Yeah, we got some wonderful people in here. Oh, I want another hour. Woo-hoo.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, it'll be an hour of just me
Just
all
Shizzy.
by
It's only
myself.
Shizzy.
Hey, Max Lab, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for the $2 super chat. And we got to make the haters mad. Oh, thank you. And Teresa, oh, we and what makes them even more angry is whenever because we have other things that we do, and Teresa Finn is
Mhm.
somebody's books that we read on Sunday nights. And if all you have to do is go back to those streams that we did with Teresa Finn, her
So
stories,
fun.
oh my
So fun.
gosh, so much fun. And retired Staff Sergeant Gardner became a YouTube member. Welcome and
Fun.
thank you for your service. It's always nice having some of the military in here. And in the words of Prince, let's go crazy.
Let's go crazy. Dun,
Oh,
dun, dun.
Prince was awesome.
He was.
Hey, Diva, good to see
Hey,
you.
Wanda. Good to see you.
Mhm. And thank you, Allie. I appreciate you. Allie jumps in all the time and is like, "Hey, Shizzy, how's it going? Good to
Fun.
see you." She's
Very
awesome.
nice.
Got some great peoples here. And Sandra Marinak, it's already New Year's Eve here. That's right. I
The
forget.
time warp. Yes.
Yes, let's do the
The
time warp.
time warp again.
I'm scared to sing that song because it might bring in somebody that was in the time warp. Just saying. I've seen the outfit. I'm just like,
I
you don't
don't
want to.
know. It'd be kind of cool.
Well, not that one.
The fishnets.
Well, let's put it this way: men shouldn't be wearing fishnets.
That's true. That's true. That's the weird part. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So Miss Preston also yelled at you, and then you said, "Oh my God, yes." So Skankle twin of the two Kankles in a pod, she yelled at you also.
I've never had any interaction with her. I chose to have nothing to do with her. When I saw what they were doing on the internet, I was appalled.
And has Mr. Crook ever yelled at you?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into all of that. So I feel like I'm getting a good understanding here. When did you first start doing anything related to Mr. Hales and Miss Preston?
When you say doing anything, can you be more?
Well, I mean the first one was about Mr. Meeks, so I mean about the problem, about the interactions between the two of them, not Meeks, between Miss Preston and Mr. Hales. When did you first start covering that aspect?
Oh, okay. In the beginning, I was more interested in what was going on at a town hall. I had more of an interest in political type of stories.
Oh, okay.
And there was something in town hall that did capture my heart. I'm just got to say that part, and then along the way, I kept getting pretty much talked into the Preston's case, and I didn't do a whole lot on her case. I did start to advocate for her online a bit, speaking my opinion on what I saw in the videos, not in what I understood in the videos, because I didn't understand where Mr. Hales was coming from yet. Now I do. Then I didn't.
So when you say you were talked into, would that be like a private plane heading off to Little St. John's Island? And wait, let me finish. Preston, Crook, Foreskin, all three of them were involved in talking you into this?
In the very beginning, it was just Preston and Jamie who were talking to me into this case. Jamie didn't understand things at that point.
Well, when you said you had to cover the case of Jeremy Hales and Preston,
Yes.
in the beginning of you felt pressured. You said so, right. So when you said you felt pressured or talked into doing something, who was rubbing your feet, and who would that be to cover the
I
wait, let me finish. Uh,
It's like 12-year-old kids.
we are so bad. Thank you, Tickle Tits. New Year's hot toddy on me,
Nice.
mate. Thank you, Tickle Tits. And that we will be doing, I will be doing something for New Year's. You haven't seen anything yet. If you haven't worn fishnets, are you really an 80s rock star, Shizzy? I was never a 80s rock star.
It's totally the 90s, man. Come
It's
on.
totally the 90s, and no, I never wore fishnet stockings.
was
I
all
may have worn a
flannel.
mini skirt or two, but I never wore fishnet stockings. Just saying. Just say you see me in a mini skirt, man. I'm telling you, I got these hips don't lie.
Got some nice calves, right? Right, Shizzy?
I do
Good
have
calves.
some nice legs.
Mhm.
I have some really nice legs. They're
He's
very
got
long.
legs. He knows how to use them.
Oh, damn right. Damn right. I knew how to work them legs. Wait. Okay, to cover the actual interactions between Miss Preston and Mr. Hales, not Meeks, not third parties. You felt pressured to dive into that into that specific detail or talked into that. Is that what you said?
Not in the very beginning, but
Not in the very beginning, I know, but that was about Meeks. I'm talking about okay. Let's make this so much easier. Let me break out the lube.
I don't understand. I'm sorry.
I know. I can see it. So when was the first time Miss Preston told you about any ED problems that she personally was having with Mr. Hales, allegedly?
Well, from the beginning.
When she told crosstalk, when she told you about Mr. Meeks, she also told you that she herself personally was having problems with ED. I mean, Mr. Hales.
Yes, he was destroying
Tell us.
her whole life.
Tell us why she was saying that. Why was Jeremy Hales in March of 2023 just destroying her life?
She was just saying that he was destroying her whole life and she wanted to sue him.
Ooh, so she wanted to sue Mr. Hales in March of 2023.
Way back in the beginning, she discussed that, yeah.
Did she say what her grounds for suing him were?
No, just basically so he would stop talking about her on the internet.
I see. So because and you're a journalist and you know what the First Amendment and free speech is all about, correct? You do?
But I also believe it was more than that for Mr. Hales. It was more than just freedom of speech. He was crying out. I know now why he was crying out. He was
What do you know now that you didn't know then about why he was crying out? Because he's right here and he's in pain.
concerned.
His concerns, his fear.
His fear for his safety and for the child.
Oh, Mr. Hales had concern for the child as well, is correct?
Yes, and
And you had concerns for this child too, right? You had concerns for the child also.
I gained concerns for the child over the time and hearing conversations on the phone that
And when we've been referring to the child, we mean the adopted daughter of Miss Preston,
no.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And her initials are HG, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So we're talking about, you said, now you understand what Mr. Hales was going through back then. You have a different perspective now than you had back then, correct?
Oh, I do.
Okay. And oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I feel ashamed for thinking the way I thought because I didn't know.
Well, how would you have known? You didn't know Miss Preston. You trusted her, right?
And the videos were confusing me.
Well, it doesn't look the same on video as whenever it's happening to you. Oh, well,
The
can you
camera
remember as
magnifies the image.
sorry, that's so bad. Can you remember as you sit here today any video that confused you? And we're not no one's blaming you for making those videos.
Well, videos that Mr. Hales did were very, very strong, and they it concerned me because I didn't understand what was behind them at the time. I was only getting part of the story, obviously, one half of it, and all I could get from the other side was the videos. And it just appeared alarming to me, but I understand what he's fighting for.
Okay. What's fascinating is taking your deposition here is there really as far as when you watch the videos, the friction between the two of them didn't really seem to exist in March of 2023 between Mr. Hales and Miss Preston.
Not in March, no. The videos, I think, were after she was in the town hall, like, after she ran for town hall.
I see. Do you know what month that was in April?
I believe it was in April or May when because he didn't do any videos about her until later.
Right. And so I want to make sure that and if you need to change the time frame a little bit, please do. We are all here seeking the truth, okay? Ducey, Foreskin, myself, Mr. Hales, we're all here seeking the truth. And a lot of courtrooms in this country, when you walk in, there's big signs, we who labor here are just seeking the truth, whatever it is. So that's why I'm asking this question. In March of 2023, there were not being any known friction between Mr. Hales and Miss Preston, yet she's calling you up initially saying, I want to sue Mr. Hales because he's threatening me.
Well, that didn't come until probably May, but in
Okay.
March, in March, she first contacted me on Messenger saying that she had a big story for me. And then there was nothing for a little while because I wasn't really, I listened, but I didn't get involved.
And the big story for you was turned out to be a big lie about Mr. Hales and Mr. Meeks, right?
I feel very misled.
But it was a lie. Miss Preston lied to you, didn't she?
Well, I don't know what was said to her regarding Mr. Meeks. I just I just know she lied to me on many other levels, and I got to a point where there was, what could I believe anymore? When someone lies to you about big things and you catch those lies on records and you begin to put the pieces together.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the first exhibit here. It's not a lie. It's not a lie. And by the way, if you ever need to take a break, just
I
let
am.
us
I'm gonna go
know.
grab something to drink. I'll be right back.
Okay. We're going to be here a while, and so I only ask that if you're not a if there's not a question pending, we just answer a question that's pending. We could take a break, okay? So I'm going to see what I'm going to show you what is proposed amended complaint in this case, and I'm going to see what, if anything, you know about anything in there, okay? And this will be Exhibit 1. Comes in pieces. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Oh, that's crusty, right? That is so crusty. Oh, we hit the goal. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. Let's see. We will go ahead and fire up another goal. And we're gonna make this one. Oh, let's see. We'll do 5 super chats. What can we do? And we'll put this for 1 hour. And let's see, how are we gonna celebrate? It's gonna have to be a pretty massive one here. Let's raise the stakes here. Orange and higher. Let's see. We will let's see, what can we do for you guys? Oh, well, right. New song. That's what we'll do. If we hit that one right there, we'll set that for an hour. That's so we've got a new goal, but it's a high amount of super chats. A high amount of super chats for that one.
Thank you for allowing me that.
Oh, not a problem. It gave me opportunity to set a new goal for
Oh, did you already meet the first one?
Yeah, so I'm going for an extra hour.
I looked at the clock. I was like, "Oh man, oh man."
Well, and you can anytime that you need to dip out, just let me know, and we can take it. I can take over from here.
Maybe when it gets to the next natural stopping point, well.
Okay. So we showed Exhibit 1 marked for identification, and I whip it out. And can you see this?
Yes, sir.
You don't need a magnifying glass. Right at the first sentence here, it says, "This is a case about the use of threats or extortion to compel Mr. Hales to behave in a certain manner and or persuade Mr. Hales to provide Miss Preston and Mr. Cook with benefits." Do you know anything about that?
I'm not sure if I know anything about that particular sentence.
All right. Do you know
So much information.
Sorry, go ahead. What?
You have to be more specific because there is.
Okay, all right. It's a summary. It's a summary of the case. We'll
Oh,
go
wow.
down. Well, it's the summary of the case. It's fine. Okay. Do you know that Miss Preston, prior to moving to Otter Creek, Florida in 2020, was a viewer of What the Hales?
I was told she was by her in Messenger that she saw one of his videos on Otter Creek beforehand
Then what did she tell you?
when he was
What did she tell you about the video she saw about Otter Creek and Mr. Hales?
looking at the property there.
Okay. So did she tell you that she just happened to watch Mr. Hales? That was the first video she ever watched of him, or
She didn't go into more detail about it.
she did not?
Didn't go into more detail, but I know she was watching him before moving to Otter Creek.
Oh, so you know that she was watching him, Mr. Hales, peeking over the fence and looking at him in a weird, cross-eyed manner. Wait, you gotta let me finish. It's not gonna look good on the transcript because I didn't
Oh,
want to
no,
use the
it doesn't.
transcript. Put it on. Miss Preston told you that before she moved to Otter Creek, Florida, she was watching What the Hales.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know that in May of 2020, Miss Preston started her own YouTube channel?
I know of the YouTube channel. I've seen it, but I didn't have conversations about that at that time.
Okay, did she ever direct you or to her own YouTube channel?
No, she had never shown me that channel. It was only discovered later.
And you discovered it doing your research.
Yes.
What did you discover about that channel?
Just that it existed and there was like family video, and she had a nickname for her child, Pickles.
Ah, phonetic. Okay. Okay, good. All right. And I think that paragraph 11 is what you said. She learned in December of 2020 through watching What the Hales that Mr. Hales had purchased land for part-time operations of his social media platforms in Otter Creek, Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, did she tell you that she was viewed that Mr. Hales moving to Otter Creek, Florida was an opportunity for her?
She felt there were benefits.
What were the benefits? Did she tell you?
She mentioned that he was going to create he was going to create some kind of, I'm going to say a Walt Disney World, but like some kind of, something fantastic that could draw a lot of attention there, basically.
What that would benefit Mr. Hales? How could that benefit her?
She had a rescue, and I'm not sure would how it would benefit her, but she felt that there would be increasing her property value was one of the things.
I see. Okay, but do you know that in December of 2020, when she learned that Mr. Hales is moving to Otter Creek, Florida, that Miss Preston did not own any property in Otter Creek, Florida at that time?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry. I must have had something stuck in my throat. So this is December 2020 when she learned that Mr. Hales is purchasing property in Otter Creek, Florida. At that point, did she not own property in Otter Creek, Florida? Did you know that?
She did not own property there.
Damn. That right there is oof. Wow. Okay. All right. Did she ever discuss strike that. Let's just move on to the next one. And the next one. And the next.
And
When was the first time you met Mr. Crook?
I don't know the exact first time, but during conversations with Preston, he would be in the background
Creepin'? And did you ever hear her child in the background too?
all the time.
Oh, damn. So approximately, and this is just approximately, we're not going to hold you to it. We might tie you down later, but how many times have you spoken with Miss Preston over the phone since March of 2023?
Several times.
Well, when you say several, is it more than 100, less than 50?
I'm not going to say more than 100. Oh gosh, dozens maybe,
Dozens. Okay.
or dozens, or a couple dozen. I can't give an exact number. It's been off and on through the time that I've
Sounds like between the sheets, somewhere between 20 and 40 conversations. Would that be fair?
perhaps, we'll say perhaps. I mean, it could be in that range.
All right. And you have records of your phone conversations with her?
Not everything. There were times when I was recording with permission because I was doing interviewing. We were going to use interview segments, so there may be records of some of that.
That would be I'm sorry, I want to interrupt here. That would be very interesting to because here she is saying that, she was going to be doing interviews with people on all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, that
She had to disclose, I'm getting ready to record. Are you okay with me recording this for the interview? So there's
yeah,
disclosure. And if somebody was fully aware that they were being recorded, um, you know,
yeah,
then there you go. It's wide open. It's wide
yeah.
open.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is like that, because here she is doing what a normal journalist would do and doing the research on this. And at some point she realized, wow, this stuff has gone too far. And I think that's whenever she backed out. I mean, I could be wrong. I choose. Um, so you interviewed her, but not in person.
I have not interviewed her in person.
Thank God for that. So how did you do the recordings?
I was going to record on the phone and do an interview with her in the very beginning, like do like an interview. Rather than going to Florida at that time, I was just going to do an interview.
Did you and so you have interviewed her with her permission, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure I did because I asked permission a couple of times. Yes.
Okay, all right. And do you have those recordings still?
I would have to go search and find them, but I'm sure they're still there.
Oh, wow. Those are interesting.
Yeah, because
Oh,
as soon as he brings this up, now they could be found in discovery. They haven't gotten to discovery yet, have they? They're just in the deposition phase, or is this
yeah,
all
they're in the
discovery?
deposition phase.
Okay.
And they've got a date that they have to finish their discovery by.
Okay. Okay.
So all of this stuff is going to come out later in discovery.
Yeah, because now that it's been entered,
Yeah.
it would be faulty of them not to find those recordings if they're available.
Well, and that and see, a lot of people were saying, well, I don't understand why Jeremy did it, especially Deuce Foreskin. I don't understand why these people are being added. There's no reason for them to be added in.
There's so
All
much
of this,
reason. There's
yeah,
so many
all of
reasons for them to be added in.
yes, all of this stuff that you have to present it in a court, not a court of public opinion. It has to be
Mhm.
presented in a courtroom for the judge to be able to allow this in. Court of public opinion means diddly squat.
No,
It's
because you see how quickly information can get mired in just faulty perspectives or faulty feelings, or there, at least with the court system, you would hope there is some logic and procedure that dictates how information flows into the case, which can be used to some people's disadvantage also.
yes,
But the intent of it is to get all of the facts that are applicable to the situation at hand so that a full and true ruling can be made about the
yes,
situation from a
exactly.
legal standpoint, not an emotional standpoint, from a legal standpoint.
And that's what these fools are missing out on so much is like if you want to bring something legally against somebody, you have to have legal proof. You
There
have
has to
to
be
go through the
facts.
you have
Some
to go through discovery. You have to go through these depositions. You have
yes.
to have all of this information brought out and then be able to point at this deposition and say, this is why we're subpoenaing these records. This is why we this is to get a search warrant on somebody. You have to go through a process of
Yes.
getting a search warrant. You can't just go walk up to a judge and say, Judge, I need a search warrant because I suspect something might be there.
Somebody
You
stole my
have
dog. I need to get in their backyard.
Yeah, well, if somebody stole your dog and you have to get in their backyard, how about we look? And if there's a dog there, then we will go after that backyard. But
Yeah, but
until
even
then,
yeah, and there's so many you can't just go into someone's backyard and say that's my dog.
right.
You have to get some unbiased party involved, and that's kind of what this court system is. Should be an unbiased party to review the situation and the facts surrounding the case. 'Cause you can't just say, "Well, that person did this to me and they owe me thousands of dollars now."
Right. You have to go through the whole discovery of it. And they really do not want this stuff pulled out. That's why they're making so many threats against her.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because that's their tactic. That has been their tactic this whole time to just go after people that want to bring this stuff out. PR
Mhm.
sucks with them. Okay, great. Now look at paragraph 12, July 17th, 2021, and let me know let me just show you something here. I'm going to whip it out. I don't have it in front of me. Sorry,
Oh
I'll
my.
get it here for you.
Yes,
That
thank you.
did you know anything about this? Read this paragraph. You don't need to read it out loud, but I'll read it for you. On or about July 17th, 2021, Preston drove from Northwood, Florida to a vacant lot across the street and from Mr. Hill's property. And she took a fan picture with Jamie Starr Johnson by the entrance to Mr. Hill's property, where his drive-through sign was publicly known to be located. What, if anything, do you know about this incident?
That day, they went there to look at the property. They hadn't purchased it yet. They were there to look at the property. Jamie was there and Preston was there, and they went to his address to take that picture.
And you weren't
House address to take that picture.
there, right?
I was not there.
Okay, so this is where someone could easily claim hearsay, unless, of course, you have photo evidence of it
Mm-hmm.
and also a recording of them saying that they were there. So there are certain instances where these idiots don't understand this. There are certain instances where hearsay is allowed by the court system. And this would be one of those instances. This wouldn't be considered hearsay. So both parties, both Jamie and both Preston,
Oh, wait, your answer, you're me. You're
they
talking,
confirmed
you're
that-
Q.
they confirmed that I'm cute.
You're Q.
They confirmed that with you.
Yes.
Did they tell you why they wanted to take a picture where Mr. Hale's drive-through sign was located?
Preston wanted to take the picture from what I understand.
Did she ever come to understanding why Miss Preston would take that picture there?
No.
Okay, have you ever seen the picture?
Yes.
How?
It was sent to me by Jamie.
Jamie had the picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have it.
You have it? Okay.
I have it. It was sent to me in Messenger back in 2023.
It was sent to your messenger in 2023.
Yes.
Who sent it to you?
Jamie, I have it.
Why would do you know any idea why Jamie would send that to you?
She sent me a lot of pictures because of things that happened to her when she was staying there. She
Okay. Yes, I heard that. What, at some point Miss Jamie Johnson, Miss Star Johnson, she stayed with Miss Preston on her property?
yes, for 2 months.
Okay, and you know that, did Miss Preston tell you that?
May I just correct that? Approximately 2 months, because I don't know the exact timeline, but it was
Okay.
for weeks.
It was how many?
Weeks of anywhere up to 2 months. It was weeks, but I don't know the exact number of weeks.
Okay, so how long do you think this do you know the timeline of Miss Johnson left the property of Miss Preston?
When you say, can you reword that? Because I don't understand the question.
Do you know when she left? It's important happening at that time.
Oh, I can
If you don't guess. It's okay.
find out.
What?
I can look back in Messenger at some point and find out, if you need that answer, to find out when she was thrown off the property. Preston,
I know. I understand that.
yeah, they put her in the street. They put her in the streets.
Okay, that's what I mean. Do you know when that occurred?
I can get you the exact date if I go on my Messenger, which I'm not going to. I can't do right now, obviously, but because it'll take too long to get up there. It takes like A couple of hours to get to the top of a messenger thread, but I can get that date for you.
And who told you that?
Who told me that she was thrown off the property? Or
Correct. How did you learn that? Who?
Jamie was distraught and wrote to me from Florida. I'm in the street. I don't have anything. I don't have any of my things. I don't have any of my clothing. She won't even let me get my things out of my camper. She was distraught.
Man, that's just fucking cruel. And how did that make you feel when you heard that news?
It was like I couldn't even believe what I was hearing. Jamie has never once lied to me, but I had both of them run on sentences. Both of them were just going at each other, and I decided to remove myself from that equation. Jamie was sending me things in Messenger. Michelle was doing, or Preston was doing the same, and Preston was demanding that I stop all contact with Jamie. Demanding.
Whoa, when she was demanding, was that in writing or on the phone or both?
It could be. It could be in writing or it could be on the phone. I would have to search and find that. She demanded that I stop all contact with Jamie, and I didn't agree with that. And then she started accusing me of giving Jeremy information and giving Jamie information that she was feeding to Jeremy, which never happened. I never gave anyone any information or gave Jeremy any information. Never happened. She started making these accusations.
And they're currently doing this. Just so you guys understand this, they're currently claiming that she's been in cahoots with Jamie the whole time.
It's
You know,
just
that
a
that
hot mess.
yes,
Hot mess.
very, very hot mess. And did she say that information specifically? It was what she thought you were giving.
No, she just thought that I was being a mole and that I was giving Jamie information and that Jamie was giving information to Jeremy through me about her, which never happened.
Do you know anything about the arrangement that Miss Preston had with Jamie as to leaving her camper on Miss Preston's property?
I do. Well, the camper was actually delivered weeks before Jamie even got there. Jamie never had possession of that camper before she got there. She didn't even know where it came from. She just knew it was her husband gave it to her as a gift for child support, and Preston received the camper 3 weeks before Jamie arrived and took possession of the camper and checked it out and said everything was okay with the camper because she checked everything out, looked it up, made sure everything was okay with it, and then Jamie arrived. But I'm sorry, I forgot what your question. Can you say your question one more time?
So, what was the arrangement? I mean, so as I understand you, we'll go a little slower. Jamie Starr told you that.
Well,
Go ahead. How did you know? How did you know that this camper was a gift from Jamie Starr's husband for child support?
Jamie told me.
Okay, right. And so, did she also tell you what the arrangements were, if any?
Yeah, yes, she told me everything.
Ugh. You gotta let me finish. What arrangements were, if any, between her and Miss Preston to have Jamie's camper sit on Miss Preston's property?
Jamie told me she wanted Jamie to move out there so she could kick her husband Cook out off the property, and that Jamie would move there. That was the original thing. Jamie told me that.
Wow.
What?
That sounds so typical.
So manipulative.
Yes. And I've had roommates like this that were just like, where the reason that they wanted me to be, you have to understand as a musician, you don't have a whole lot of money. You're usually pretty broke all the damn time. And so you usually have roommates, and there's been situations where it's like, yeah, you know, we got a place for you, and you move in. It's just like, oh, we're just moving you in because we know this other person doesn't like you, so we can get them to leave. I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I've run into people like this that do that kind of crap where it's just like, well, if you're there, they're not going to want to be there.
Wow.
It is very manipulative.
The whole
Oh,
thing
oh,
is.
yeah. This is like gives me the skeevies.
It does me too, and it's.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
was that going to be free? Was it free to Jamie to keep her camper on Michelle's property?
Well, I don't know what those arrangements were, but I know that Jamie went there and worked very, very hard on the property. She had her working every day from what Jamie said, and
Jeez.
Jamie was not feeling well, and she said she couldn't do it anymore, and she started to stay over near a friend's house because she was being overworked, and it was very difficult on her. That's what she had told me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well,
Wow.
so Matchkin Foreskin just jumps in here. Wait, what can I say? Can I please say something on the records? It's perfectly fine. I wonder if you'd endeavor to explain what any of this has to do with defamatory road signs or interference with contracts or customers. That's all. We're moving on. Next question. So go ahead and go back. Did you ever know why Miss Preston had Miss Johnson working on her property?
I love her heart, and she doesn't answer these questions well. Okay. Well, Jamie felt that she was used. She felt like she was being used. That's what she said to me.
Do you know whether or not Miss Preston was paying Jamie to work on Miss Preston's property?
I was told Jamie was paying her for the electric. I believe it was the electric she had stated, and that it was like a test time to see if she could move there and move to Florida. That's basically all I was told about that.
So as a journalist, as an experienced smoking hot journalist, that sound credible to you? Someone's paying electricity and being made to work by the owner of the property just to have a camper there. Am I summarizing that correctly?
It seems like there's got to be some kind of I don't know. I felt like there was always some kind of plan, premeditated plan on why these things were occurring, because it didn't make sense to me, and unless she really wanted her to move there. I mean,
Right. I'm just if you don't know, we'll move on. But it seems like did you ever ask Jamie, like, if you're being overworked, why are you working? Are you working for nothing? Why are you doing this? Did you ever ask her a question like that?
well, she did it to help a friend. She wanted to help the child. She was spending time with the child and helping the friend. She went there with her heart to help her, and her life has been turned upside down since.
Okay.
She helped her.
So did Foreskin ever, to your knowledge, have any interactions with Jamie?
Not that I know of.
Okay, all right. Let's go back to where I was. We'll get there. Can you see that? Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. You can't see it yet. Hold on.
Counsel, is it okay if we take a quick break?
Yes, we can.
Perfect segue.
Yes, we can. Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. We hit a good breaking spot there
Yeah.
for the day.
I have no idea what time it is. Oh no.
Oops, I hit the wrong key. Sorry.
I was like, where'd you
There
go?
I meant to turn my camera back on.
Don't do that. No. Don't do
No.
that.
So yes,
Oh.
this is good natural stopping point for this right
Yeah, it
here.
is.
And, because after reading through this, it seems to be that Jamie is being made to work almost like as slave labor.
Well, here's my take on it, because I'm cold and heartless.
Mhm.
People do what they want to do. At any point, she could have said, "No, I'm taking my camper and I'm leaving." So the fact that she voluntarily stayed, but then was in a situation where it was an undue burden to herself, for her to stay in that situation, I would have to question the why, because normally there's a reason why
Well,
people
and
make bad choices.
she did say that she was there basically for the child. Do you think
Yeah,
it's possible?
that's
Do you
such a
think it's
manipulative.
do you think it's possible that Jamie saw things that were happening there? And I don't know because I wasn't there. Do you think it's possible she saw things that were happening there that gave her concern and she was wanting to protect the child?
Maybe, that's very possible, and I can go both ways on that. I can
Yeah.
go on the very, very, hard, fast line where it's like, "This is not my family. I have no legal connection to these people, but I do feel concerned, so I will contact the appropriate authorities and get them involved.
Right.
I will also help the authorities because I'm right here. I can be their eyes, and I will collect as much information as I can to show the authorities of the things I'm concerned about." That's
Right.
that's one way to handle it. The other way to handle it, which it looks like maybe is the route that was chosen, was to stay in the situation, but then not really have any means to be able to change the situation.
Right.
And
Because
to me,
the trailer was dropped off by her husband as a gift for child support. So the husband, ex-husband, owned this trailer at the time still.
yeah,
So and that's what that one where there is an older video that we've shown before where the sheriff showed up to pull that trailer off the property. And that's something that Shara showed on her channel of them pulling that trailer off that property. And she and Lynette lost her ever loving mind because she was just like, "Oh, this should belong to me," and now it's being reported stolen.
and that's the other part, because as soon as someone else's piece of property, the trailer, the RV, the camper, comes on another person's piece of property, you better have a contract or some kind of agreement or disagreement, something in writing, just in
Mhm.
preparation for what could happen, that future disagreement that may not be on the horizon, but high probability, because people are people, there will be a disagreement in the future.
Well, and you also have to understand that these are folks that are through not necessarily any fault of their own, but have run into hard times. And this was an easier place for them to be, an easier
Yeah.
place for them to be, thinking that, I'm trying to remember the exact because it, a lot of people think that changing geographical location fixes problems, and that is never the case.
No, normally it's the mindset. Whatever mindset is at play to get someone in a really bad situation, if that mindset's not addressed, no change in geography is gonna fix their problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it was that I think that's why some of these problems continue to exist to this day because I think that she is looking for a geographical location that's going to be better for her
Yeah.
and it's she doesn't it's like she has this concept of, well, if I had $1 million it would make me a better person. I mean, there is that attitude of people where
I
it's like, well,
had
hell, if I win the lottery,
$1,000,000.
that's gonna change my entire life, because
No,
that's
'cause
life-changing money.
what is that show? It's like an HGTV something where they've, It's like Lotto Find My House or something. I don't know, something.
Something
But
like that.
people blow through that money
Yeah. In
because
no time at all.
no time at all. Because what they're looking for, that external fix, it's never going to be there because the root
No.
of the issue is in here and in here.
Yes.
And money won't fix that.
No, never will.
Mm-mm.
Never will.
Never will. Okay. It's almost midnight. I'm about to turn into a pumpkin.
Okay, sweetheart.
All right.
We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was going to say tomorrow I was thinking of doing a stream from about 8 to 10. If you
Okay.
wanted to come by.
I think I can do that.
Okay.
I have to check my schedule, darling. I have to see.
She's a very busy lady, just so you
Perhaps
guys.
I'll show up in my cocktail dress. Yes. I don't know.
Yes, that would be awesome. But yeah, so I'll probably I'll drop you an invite if you
Cool.
stop by tomorrow. It's just going to be just a couple hours stream, and then probably send everyone over to go visit with the expert.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be fun. Well, chat, I didn't get to see everyone's comments, but thank you all for having me come by.
Yes.
Thank you, Shizzy, for inviting me.
Thank,
I appreciate it. I'll see you
well,
soon.
thank you for coming by. I appreciate you so
All
much.
right.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye. Oh my gosh, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Dictionary Diva, the bestest in the, one of the bestest voices you're ever going to hear. I really want tomatoes and hatters roll on the floor or screaming Kankle Twins. Thank you, Shizzy, Diva, and Yamaha for making this into entertaining out of a very bad situation for Jeremy Hales and George. Absolutely. It is one of those where it is such a disturbing issue, and it's very hard. It does make it very hard to cover these kinds of issues because of all of the craziness that's going on, and we're trying to make as light of it as we possibly can. And it's not out of disrespect for anybody whatsoever, because these are people, real lives. And these kinds of things can really do a lot of damage. It's just it hurts me. It hurts me to see it all. It really does. And go all go. This is the greatest reading ever. Wait for the Barry White music in the background. Oh, we do have some music that we're going to be doing. We'll be kicking that thing off here shortly. We will be breaking out some wonderful music for you guys. But no, we've got so as far as other news goes, I'm sure that all of you are aware that the what I'm trying to say, the case with Jeremy Hales, the DUI guy, the thumbnail case, that they're trying to back out of this case. We're already aware of that. If it serves me correctly in understanding this, that is going to be a very hard one for them to drop out of, to get out of that case. And a lot of that has to do with, I believe that DUI guy is probably going to be coming back and countersuing on this, which is going to be very, very interesting in the long term. It could put a lot of pressure on the Preston and the Matskin because of this. That right there is something that we're all paying attention for. Yeah. Jeremy already did say the thumbnail case isn't getting closed. More to come with it. I would expect. You were quiet in the chat. Well, that right there, long day. That's okay, Elka. That's okay. Long day. And this is because if you and it is a warning to anybody that files suit. If you file a frivolous lawsuit, just to silence people, just to go after them on the attack, because a lot of this was that they were really butthurt over nobody paying any attention to them, because look at the people that they went after, and they got attention. They were wanting this attention, and whenever they got it, now all of a sudden they're saying, "Oh, we don't want to have this kind of attention on us." Yeah, makes you go and wonder. Bubbles, LP, and the useless turds think they can pile shit on, and then just run away unscathed. Yeah, don't hold your breath. That's very true. That is very true. And the sooner they learn this, the sooner that it's going to be that they take this stuff seriously, because so far they have not been taking seriously any of the lawsuit that's going on. I would suspect by next week that you're going to hear back from the judge. The judge is going to have something to say, because right now is sort of one of those quiet times in court cases. A lot of times, you're trying to get things filed, getting them taken care of, getting them handled. And this particular portion of it isn't going to go away anytime soon. And then you're also looking at they've got that wonderful case with Therese that's happening with Madam Mayor, that they're going after her on that trespassing case. That one is going to be coming up. The guy, I think that photo you are showing should be on a t-shirt, the guy with the lightning bolts. Well, and that is something I actually spoke with Megan about today, because I had some questions. I was asking her how she had set up her merchandising and all that kind of stuff. So those things will be coming up in the following year. There's a few moves that I'm making in that direction. So you will see a little bit more of that come up. It's just takes time to get all those happening. After reading what you have to do, you think, what's your best guess for the added defendants? After reading what you have, what do I think my best guess for the added defendants? Yeah, I mean, so far what I've read, by what Shara has shown, has been very devastating. Sorry, just a little bit of a burp there. I think it's been very devastating to Bubbles. Like, I really think that he's put himself in a similar position before, and that is, trying a case on the YouTubes. I know quite a few attorneys that are here on the YouTubes. Plus, my wife happens to be an attorney, and whenever I brought this up to her, I said, "Would you ever consider going on YouTube and talking about one of the cases that you're involved in?" She's like, "One of the cases I've been involved in? Oh, hell no." She goes, "Probably not even one of the past cases I've been involved in." I mean, she would give reference to it, but yeah, she's like, there's certain ethics that attorneys have that they don't do. And everything that I have seen so far from what Shar has been bringing up is that there is a very serious, "Oh, you're out of here, Yama. Have a good night. Have a good night. Hit that subscribe and like on your way out. Thanks. Thank you, brother." It is very serious. The part that she's brought up, that Shar has been bringing up, and on top of that, having the receipts to prove all of it, makes a very compelling case for this. Now, she doesn't have to show any of that information until she's been subpoenaed for it. Once she's been subpoenaed, then she should be showing a lot of that information. But when that happens, that's usually going to be brought out in discovery, because she won't be added to the case, but she will be a defendant in the case. So I'm not defendant in the case, but she will be a witness in the case, is what I mean to say. Fighting the beer bug here. It's great to have entertainment like this. Aware of situation is serious. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand the depths of how how deep this actually does go. The amount of damning information that has been brought out just in the first 78 pages of this deposition has been completely devastating to her case, to Preston. And I think that if the judge, which I would hope that he does, brings in me, no, I'm sticking around like Herbie's. I'm sure that's a good analogy. Fuck it. Thank you. Well, what I'll do is I'm going to send a invite over there to Yamaha if he wants to come by. I will send him a wonderful invitation over here, and maybe he will weigh in a little bit on what he sees. How's that? There we go. We hope that it happens. We hope that it happens. Oh, jeez. You guys are funny. You guys are funny. Telling me that I need to be wearing a helmet for this. Oh, no. I've got special things going on for that helmet. Just so you guys know, there are some very, very cool things that are going to be happening with the helmet here shortly. I've got some plans to get the helmet happening with some stickers. So as the super chats come in, I'll be adding the stickers to the helmet until it just gets so obnoxious that I have to start it all over. Maybe for the beginning of the year, that's where you'll start seeing the helmet brought out. And I may not wear it all the time, but I will have the helmet where it'll be visible so you guys can see the stickers as it gets loaded down with super chat stickers. So it'll be fun, I think. It'll be fun. The deposition process has also told Shara what she needs to provide for the actual court case. Yes, correct. That is absolutely correct. Yeah, safety is always first, Puddletown. That's why I wear the boots. New to Shizzy store, get your own helmet, Velcro shoes, and short post. Yeah, I can imagine getting the helmet in the Merc store, and it just basically has a sticker that's it's a protection from cankles. Oh my gosh. Oh, my bubble helmet. Do you think the magistrate will order CPS or the AG to check out the child after all of these accusations and him being a mandated reporter? See, I don't know. See, I've never been involved in this kind of this side of that kind of stuff, so I don't know how this would work out. I really don't. I have no idea how this would work out. You'll have to change your chat's name to Shizzy's Window. Well, I don't know if they're all going to be licking windows. I mean, they may be licking other things. You never know. I mean, there is lots of love to be spread around. Oh, Sandra, look, I've been a mental health nurse for over 20 years. I don't believe she is mentally ill. She does have a disorder, but knows exactly what she is doing. This is learned behavior. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I could see that. The way that she's been acting. I mean, it goes, you can still have learned problems and be mentally ill. There's always that problem. Bubble pickers is better. No, we'll just keep you guys nuts, because you have to be nuts just to hang out with me, at least slightly, at least quite a bit unhinged. That's that I think is a little bit of a requirement, just to be sort of on the edge of your seats and on the edge of your mind and try to think through things critically, I guess. I mean, I try to sometimes. She has a straw disorder. Oh, you guys are bad. You guys are so bad. The left or the right? No, I am the dick in the middle. There is no left or right here. Oh, you have bubbles in your in your bath. Oh, that I could do. That would be something. Get you guys your own special bubble bath. Learn crippled behavior and her MO over and over again with everyone else she has contact with. That seems to be part of the problem. Yeah. She's so strong. You guys are so bad. Need more likes, everyone. 1K here and not that many likes. Yikes, gotta do better. Well, they will. You also have to remember this is a little bit of a later stream, so people will be coming back and they'll be watching it to see what was talked about. And I can guarantee you, because I am in the Kankle Twins' head, that they will be going back and watching multiple times, just because they want to catch that little snippet of, oh well, I'm sure that he has got something against us. Somehow he's trying to come after us. He's trying to break us down. I don't really care what they do. I really don't. I know that I'm in their heads, and that's all that matters. I know that I'm in Bubbles' head. He can't get me out of his head. He knows that he is losing, and it's not looking good for him right now. You like late? What if I don't like the stream? Well, if you don't like the stream, you can always hit the thumbs down. I mean, it's absolutely fine. I hadn't hit like yet because the live chat hides it on mobile. Oh, that's true. It does, doesn't it? I always forget about that. That's a lot of times why people don't hit that. Don't tell me what to do when I'm on the edge. Does he know? Does he not know? No. Well, he knows. Yeah, I think that he was initially involved in this because he was looking to settle the case. And that right there is a dangerous place for an attorney to be in. You know, to think, oh, I can get a settlement out of it, I could get any kind of money. That really will break people. Knowing that there's lots of court filings. Those court filings usually don't cost anything to file it. It does cost to get a copy of it. For me, example, it cost me to get a copy of it, but they have to perfect service on anybody that gets a copy of that. So usually once the initial document has been filed, here, I'll just give you a quick rundown the way this works. Maybe I can make it simple. So there's going to be a filing fee whenever. Yeah, you're breaking in your back door. Oh, that's right. Breaking in my back door. There he is.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
So good to see you, brother.
I'm not really used to or necessarily a fan of sloppy seconds, but I'll follow behind Diva any day of the week.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you follow behind Diva? I mean, it's just like, okay. Well, and so I was telling everybody here, the way a court filing works, you have an initial filing fee that you file. Usually after that, certain courts are different ways, but some of them, like some of the stuff that we deal with here in Georgia, it doesn't cost anything to file something if you're part of the case already. So, like, for example, if I'm filing things between me and another attorney, I send them a copy of exactly what I filed, usually a filed stamped copy of it, or if they're on the service list, as far as they receive an email, a lot of times that's just as good a service, but a lot of times we'll back that up to them. And then what costs the client is the amount of time that the attorney has to spend on drafting, what they have to spend on travel, those kinds of things. If you're having phone calls with them every single day, they bill for that. Every single minute they bill for that. Usually in like 6-minute increments. It just depends on what kind of attorney they are. If you're working on contingency, means that you still track those hours, and at the end of the case, you get paid if you win, that kind of thing. which you'll see a lot of ambulance chasers do that kind of thing, where they're just like, oh no, you don't have to pay me anything right now. I'll do it, free of charge, but I have a contingency fee. Then you sign a contract, and they usually take, quite a big chunk of your money in the settlement.
Yeah.
So that's how ambulance chasers work and operate. So I could see someone like Bubbles doing this. Also, now you have to remember that if the person that loses, they want to appeal a decision, like take it to an appeals court, every single piece of paper that's been filed in the case gets put into the docket. Okay. And you have to pay per copy for that appeal. And we're not talking about double-sided pages here. We're talking about single page. Each page of everything that's been filed, they have to pay for before that appeal starts. If there was any sort of settlement, except Trump managed to get around it because there was such a large settlement involved in that it was stupid ridiculous. And so the court was just like, yeah, that's unrealistic. I mean, it tells you that the kind of money that was sought was unrealistic also in those cases. But the appeals court said, basically you have to pay all of that up front before you can file an appeal, or a large percentage of it, saying that you're good for the money. So and I'm just using this example, say for example, Jeremy wins $1 million lawsuit against them. So they would have to come up with $1 million to do an appeal, plus all the court filing fees. Make sense? Cool. So
I know some places are different, so but it's not cheap to file an appeal, that's for sure. Regardless of whether it's state or federal court.
Well, all you have to do is look at the Amber Heard trial, for example. The Amber Heard trial was a perfect example of, if she wanted to file an appeal, she was going to have to come up with, I think, $15 million or something like that to file that.
Yeah.
Coming from a public service background, we can sit and say where things went wrong. However, justice is supposed to be blind. At the very beginning, the justice system did not work. Justice system did not work.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of the reason. I think going back to the very beginning, like what we said, when you first started getting involved in this, before Bubbles came over and shit on our doorstep here, that it was just about what was going on with Lynette and Jeremy and Judge Thomas's. And that's a perfect example of a judge gone wrong, in my opinion, where clearly he was biased. Clearly there are things that were going on there being said that should not have been going on or being said. And part of the reason why he's also been removed from in the last year, 3 cases? Something to that effect?
Yeah.
Because he's a bag of shit. We had so many individuals who did not want to be named or say anything specifically because they are either working attorneys or potentially have connections to him somehow, especially in the state of Florida, who would even make statements in regards to how big of a bag of shit he was as a professor. And you could tell by the way that he was speaking in the courtroom. He was holding it as though it were a class in his explanations and how he was speaking to people.
Well, and that was the problem I had with the Daryl Brooks trial with that judge and that judge.
And
mommy.
She's always like that. Yeah, that was surprising. Yeah. I thought she was just trying to cover her ass and do that because Daryl Brooks is such a jackass. But no, she's like that all the fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, oh my God, woman, we don't need to know every single word that's in the case law. Just put the case law down and let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go back and rewatch that Daryl Brooks trial and skip over her talking and Daryl talking. And I think it'll be like a 15-minute trial. Because those two could not shut up.
No, I can't listen to that idiot again. That was painful enough.
It was painful. Yeah, I think I watched it at one point in time, and man, I was just like, oh my God, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody be so ignorant until I ran into Preston. just, I mean, watching that deposition was so painful.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I did. I mean, in all honesty, I was going to try and watch it with an open mind or whatever, but that didn't last very long. As anybody who sat there and actually watched it, I'm sure could testify to.
Well, and that's what
that
Bubbles didn't
went out
want.
the windows real quick. Yeah,
Yeah, Bubbles didn't want anybody watching that deposition.
right. Well, and even with that filing that he did, they're still lying about it. They're twisting, oh, well, it's going to be included in, there's no need to try and sue Jeremy. It had nothing to do specifically with Jeremy Hales.
No.
They were going to go after everybody. They were even trying to apply criminal law to what was going on in regards to Larry, or the Dewey guy, in regards to DJ Radis, George, and Jeremy specifically in that case. It was dropped because there was nothing that was going to go anywhere with it, and they think that they can just run away from it. And so their excuse, their spin for that is throwing it into just against Jeremy now and trying to include that in the federal case that's going on right now.
Right.
No, that's not what the deal was at all. They can lie and try and spin it all they want, but it's horse shit.
Well, I'm pretty sure their chance to do that will be expiring very soon if they're going to try to add that in there. But it's like I said, all this is about is it's the court of public opinion that they're fighting, where they should be fighting this stuff out in court, and that shows you how weak they are in their case. If they're more worried about getting it out in public opinion, then they don't have any faith in their case whatsoever, because you could just let the documents speak for themselves. And there's a reason why you won't see the toothless ones showing any of the depositions. There's a reason why you won't see them showing any of the other information that's out there.
Well, in regards to the depositions specifically, from the snippets that had been shown or what people have said, their reasoning for that, which is complete and utter horseshit, is because they are the ones that supposedly came up with the idea initially of wanting to do a live read. Oh, but then everybody else jumped on the bandwagon. Are you fucking kidding me? There's a reason why this genre, even though technically you or I are not there, but the vast majority of us here are somewhat involved somewhere in the quote-unquote, I know a lot of people hate that term, law tube community, in somewhat shape or form, watching trials, doing whatever. That's been going on in this arena for a very long time, going through court documentation, going through and reading depositions, going through and reading other filings and so forth. Yeah. They're acting like they're the geniuses that came up with the fucking idea.
Really?
No, that goes back to exactly what you were just saying. They don't want to read that shit because it points out their own stupidity and their own bullshit and lies. That's why.
Yeah.
And the fact of Matskin going through and on this latest filing, which is part of what I was getting to earlier, it was his way of he was wanting to silence Jeremy specifically. It wasn't just about the video or audio recordings. It was also about the depositions. He wanted it so that Jeremy couldn't talk about anything, couldn't show anything, couldn't share anything, couldn't send it out at all, but they could talk about it all they wanted. That was how he had it designed. Yes. And it blew up in his face. Absolutely. But somehow, according to them, they fucking win. Get the fuck out of here. Bunch of morons.
Well, and because you have to understand that and I'm talking about like not just us, but you have, and I would say one of the earliest ones that I've seen someone reading through a deposition would have been what's his name? Nick Recato. Nick Recato was one that was reading through these depositions, not these particular depositions, but reading through depositions. The thing is they have no idea that this has been going on for years and years. People read through these things, they pick them apart, they talk about them. You've got the true crimers that are doing the same thing. you've got this everywhere across the YouTubes. It's not anything new. And for them to say, well, because everybody's jumping on our bandwagon, well, that's just stupid, because nobody's jumping on their bandwagon.
Yeah.
And if that's their excuse for not reading over it, well, that's a lame excuse.
Yeah, it is.
Either that
It's
or they're
very
just
weak.
that ignorant.
Yeah.
I
Well.
don't think they're that ignorant.
Well,
I'm sure there's a brain somewhere, probably, in between some part of their eardrums.
well, that's part of it. They've got a lot of people fooled, because there are a lot of ignorant people that are just following along and eating their handfuls of bullshit and then asking for seconds with a smile on their face.
True.
And so they're saying a lot of shit, and they are very ignorant in a lot of ways and stupid. They will sit there and conflate criminal and civil procedure or criminal and civil law continuously. When they go through and they pull up these so-called statutes that they think applies, and if you look at them and read them and interpret them the way that they are actually written, they're absolutely incorrect. They're applying them incorrectly.
Well, I think that I don't think that that's unintentional, honestly.
Oh no!
She's
Well,
Well,
who knows?
compare Sarah Boone and Daryl Brooks. They're one and the same, both serving life for their own stupidity. Love Judge Darrow. Yeah, Judge Darrow. I think Judge Darrow was really good as far as a judge. My only problem was her dialogue it just drove me nuts. Like, shut up already and move on. I'm not saying I didn't like her as a judge. I'm just saying that was the part that was most annoying to me. And she has that Midwestern accent that I'm just like, I have a hard time with it. But I mean, she was a good judge. I think she was trying to get on as a federal judge or move up from her current position, whatever judge she was running, and that was part of her campaign. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, John Boy, for the $2. I believe that's Canadian, or maybe
Thank you for
maybe
everybody that does that.
yeah. No, you guys are awesome.
Shizzy puts a lot of stuff into this, and a lot of AI stuff, and as I'm sure you're all aware, I mean, that stuff, it does cost money. So even though we enjoy doing what we do, he in particular puts a lot of AI stuff into everything that he does, and it's not cheap. Or just with StreamYard alone now. StreamYard's screwing everybody over. So, yeah.
I am just, I wish, I really wish there was something out there that was as easy to use as StreamYard.
Yeah. And you hear people say, OBS or whatever. OBS has its place, and OBS is great for certain things.
Yes.
But where StreamYard overdid OBS was in regards to doing panels and things of this thing initially. But right up until they sold, everything was okay. And then whenever it was that they sold out to whomever it was, it just went down the shitter. And it's just become crap.
Yeah, the only problem, Slug, is doing the camera stuff. Getting that. I've looked at. I've pulled up Restream. I've pulled every single one of them up, and I will tell you that for gaming it works great. Like I love OBS for gaming. Oh, it's just there's so much you can do with it, and it's not a browser base, which browser base is always a pain in the butt, and you get high definition, like good quality video. Like it absolutely rocks on that. But doing panels, it sucks so bad. It just does not, because with this I can just pop it and it puts everybody where I want them to be. I can do stuff like this without ever thinking twice about it. I can just move it. With OBS, it's a pain in the butt to do that kind of crap. And then trying to share like your documents and crap like that, it's like, oh Jesus Christ, the amount of work I have to do just to do the kind of stuff the kind of coverage that I do, especially like news stories and stuff like that. OBS is such a pain in the butt to use, to flip from browser screen to browser screen to browser screen. It's just like, it's bad. I will legitimately do tech support for you for free whenever you need it for OBS. I will help you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's not that I don't know how to do it. It takes so much time to run that stuff. It really does. And that's the only problem that I have with OBS. I just have I spend a lot of time on creating content. I mean, not outside of the streams. It's like I'm doing things in the background constantly, research and crap like that. And I know StreamYard and how I can utilize it the best and fastest. And I suck at that. So I don't want to try getting into OBS and doing it there. What was that? The loud wrong girl, she swore that the cameras in Tubetown were illegal because they were too high. She said, look it up. Nope, no max heights in the state of Florida. Correct.
No. And no. That goes back to what I'm saying. They spew all kinds of stuff. It goes back to what they were talking about. So somebody out there can correct me, and you may have this or not. I saw quickly, and I can't remember if it was on, sometimes I call them Tuggin and what is it? Muggin and Muggin Tegan.
Muggin Tegan.
But I saw a small clip with a picture of that fence line, for instance. Now, public easement, and I don't know, Jeremy Hales or somebody in that area could take a look at it and see. To my knowledge, there were no permits that were gained. There were no special permissions that were given in regards to that fence. And I'm just pointing out a fact.
Right.
They want to proclaim that they know so much. However, there are state statutes and regulations, typically by the Department of Transportation in each state, that regulates public easement from the center of a roadway out to a certain line, in line with public utilities, power lines, light poles, things of that nature. You're even regulated to your own home as far as for the electric box going into your home and or also a gas main. You cannot cover them up by a fence or anything else. And in regards to power lines, power poles, light poles, there has to be an easement. There has to be an easy access. From the picture that I saw, unless I'm looking at it wrong, they put that fence covering up onto their property and have encroached on public easement with that fence. And they cannot just angle the fence. That fence would have to be moved unless there's some special thing, but I don't believe there is. And I don't see why they would give it to them, because those power poles were there before Lynette Preston bought that property. There was no special easement or agreement there where they could do that. And so what they've done is illegally encroached on that public easement by putting that fence up where they've put it up. Because technically that now blocks anybody, like I said before, whether they like it or not, it doesn't matter. You can stand out there in that line of easement and videotape, photograph, or stand there and stare at them all day long, and there's nothing anybody could do or say about it. But they have enclosed that fence in line of that easement down that power pole line. So whether or not they stipulate that there has to be a 5-foot easement or a 10 or 20-foot easement within the distance of that power pole, they would have to move that fence line.
Well, and
I don't know if anybody's looked into that or not, but that's just what I saw, if I'm seeing the picture correctly.
Well, these kinds of things usually work themselves out in the most obnoxious way. I will tell you, because what happens is if power gets knocked out on those lines, anywhere in that area, that vicinity, if they have something blocking in there, the workers will come and they will just rip the stuff out, and they'll set it over out of the way, and they'll go about their day, because time is money, and money is time.
Right, but that would still be reported. That would still be noted. And what it is, like I said, they wouldn't be able to angle that. They would have to move that entire fence line back, whatever, because county And municipalities can set their own codes in regards to those things as well. They just cannot,
Yeah, you have a
much like
setback.
with federal and state law, they cannot exceed what state law says. But they have the setback there, like you were just saying. They would have to move it because it has to be in line. That entire easement has to be within that straight line of those power lines. So they would have to move that entire fence back away from those power
And
lines.
John Boy says Jeremy talked about this. The proper line
Oh, he did.
goes up to the edge of the road, so they didn't need an easement, but they do need a permit to build. I don't think they got one. Well, and see, I don't
See,
know
that
I
doesn't
don't-
make any sense to me because most places that I know of, because they were already in situ prior to. Now, if they came in after the fact, that could be one thing. But those power lines, to my knowledge, were already in place before they bought that property. And typically, state statutes will state from the center of the road out to a specific line, wherever that easement is, wherever those power lines are at, that's public easement.
Well, and Kevin's saying that a 6-foot fence requires no permit. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, in most places, even in municipalities, yeah, as long as
Yeah.
it's 6 foot or under, it's
permit over 6 foot
But
also
I don't
replaced. They were replacing the wire fence that was there. Like I said, I don't know what those particular areas are, and if it is out of code, because it's not just about the easement. There's also a certain setback that you have to have, and that's mandatory, and that may be what they're going by, is by that setback. And sometimes they're just like, yeah, it's not, you're putting up a fence, I'm not really worried about it, kind of thing. There's those kinds of attitudes. I had to come back and correct myself on, because there was a thought whenever we were first looking at that they never used concrete in those things, and I was corrected. It's like, no, they use concrete, you just didn't see it. I was like, oh, okay, well, from what I was seeing, it didn't look like they put anything in concrete. So I mean, I've got no objection to saying, yeah, I'm probably wrong in this, because I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at what I see. And if you think there's some sort of gotcha on these kind of things, there really isn't. I don't look at it as a gotcha. It's just like, I don't know. I'm not sitting there. Just, there's a reason why I have not reported her to CPS. There's a reason why I haven't reported her to authorities. There's a reason why I have not gotten involved in this, because it does not affect me whatsoever. I'm not there. I don't see these things happening. I've got no say so in this. If it was something that I was personally there and personally witnessed, not somebody showing me a video of, if I was there personally witnessing something, it would be incumbent upon me to report that, as not just a human being, but also, as my status as, the kind of work that I do. It would be incumbent upon me to say something. But outside of that, I can only go by what I see, on videos or in what. So that's really it. That's because I'm a good person. I don't know. I'm not. Don't give me too much credit. I'm not as good as you think. I'm not as good as you think. They could have put in foam and met code. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like, there's a lot of people saying, well, they're doing X, Y, and Z. I don't know, because I'm not there. I am not a building contractor. I've done lots of work, which I'm allowed to do on my own personal home. And I actually look up the codes on things to make sure that it's done properly. So that way I don't end up like burning my house down, crap like that. Like, I do electrical work on my own house, but I also know my limitation of whenever I'm like, I don't know how to do that, I'm gonna let somebody else do that one.
Yeah.
But if I'm putting in like a new light socket or electrical outlet, I'm like, okay, how far does this need to be? What's the code on this? What amperage does it need to be? Can my fuse box handle this? All that kind of crap. I mean, you have to pay attention to that stuff. It depends on county, etc. We had to tear down our home because of codes. Grandfather made no difference in the end when they decided to cash in on fines. No mercy. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I get that, Kevin. Yeah. I mean, personally, yeah, if they want to put up a fence, but put it up correctly because that's part of the thing. They're typical with the two useless turds in particular. And comments that I see people making or little snippets that we hear about things.
Yeah.
They're constantly whining, bitching, and complaining about, oh, criminal this, criminal that, oh, they shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that, blah, 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 blah. But then at the same time, they turn around and do the very same shit. It's okay for them to do or say it. Nobody else can. But it's okay for them to do and say shit like that or to skirt around things. That's okay. And that's kind of what my point is that I'm making, is that they're constantly pointing their fingers at Jeremy or other people saying, oh, no, 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 you're doing wrong. Well, to my knowledge, that fence line is a perfect example. It's okay for them to encroach. It's okay for them to go against code and or to break the law, but, you know, and nobody should say anything or hold them accountable. They are the very thing that they claim to hate and stand against. They can sit there and deny it all they want. They are a hater channel. There's evidence that has been submitted to the court. All of us have seen writing. We've all heard statements. You heard the statements from Lynette Preston's own mouth on recording. It wasn't AI. It wasn't manipulated, any of that shit. The 911 call, the other one talking about how she was just hoping that Jeremy would settle out of court just so that she could pay off her house or whatever other shit.
Yes.
Plus then sitting there on a call with 911, knowing that it's fucking being recorded and threatening a child, a 4 or 5 year old child, with physical violence. That is verbal abuse implicating physical abuse. And it's not a one-off fucking thing because she did it so comfortably, so easily. It was autonomic while she's on the phone with 911. So kiss my ass. She is no innocent fucking angel. Fuck her.
Yeah. There's also her talking about locking that child in the shed.
Exactly. And then they try and sit there and make up some bullshit thing about other people. Oh, well, you know, I don't give a fuck about other people. I'm talking about a child.
Exactly.
You don't do or say shit like that to a little fucking kid. And then while sitting there claiming that they care and love this child so fucking much, and everything they're doing is about this child. They don't give a goddamn about that child. All they care about is the grift and the fucking money. That's all they care about. So fuck them.
That is very much what they are all about. It is all about that. Making that money.
Not to mention that cocksucker, that convicted piece of shit felon that they got on their goddamn panel all the time. I went to his fucking channel and I saw that. And he can sit there and say whatever you want. Oh, read the transcripts. Go and see what it says. He's sitting there bobbing his cockwasher right along while some guy who claims to be a goddamn veteran is sitting there talking about people sticking a shotgun in their mouth and doing self-fucking harm. Yeah. I don't give a fuck who that motherfucker is, that sawed-off little piece of shit. Sitting there talking and saying that kind of shit and then proclaiming that this guy's some fucking war hero. I don't give a fuck how many goddamn ribbons or medals he's got on his goddamn alphas. That guy's a piece of shit for doing that to begin with. And then that motherfucker sitting there bobbing his cockwasher along up and down agreeing with that shit. That's a violation of terms of service and community guidelines, and his channel should be shut down for that alone, in my opinion. That's bullshit. And for those cocksuckers over there to go along with that and say that that's okay, get the fuck out of here. Clearly, they have no idea the repercussions of that shit does. The shockwaves that sends out.
To multiple people. To multiple people. Because you don't know where people are.
Exactly. Lives. Especially when you're talking about veterans. I don't give a fuck whether or not they were naming veteran nations specifically or not. They were saying it as a whole. Yes. To any veteran. Just because you don't agree with what they're fucking saying, and it's okay to fucking do that shit, go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
100% pieces of shit.
Couldn't say it much better myself. You do own the land to the road, but there's public easement, even Jeremy's fences.
Correct. And that's my point. There is public easement. You can't just block it off. So they can say whatever they want. There is public easement. And it has to have free access.
I love it. See, people are just like,
God damn it, this shit gets me pissed off when you fucking... See, that's why I just like to fucking laugh and do this shit. Because of stupid fucks just like this.
Yes. And they
trying to paint this bitch up to be some fucking innocent angel and all this. Things are where they are right now because of Lynette Preston and John Cook. Plain and fucking simple.
Exactly.
That child, and they continue to put out that bullshit lie that, this Christmas bullshit for this kid was all because she was told that she wasn't allowed to go there. As if Jeremy and George or whoever else is sitting there wiggling their booger hooks in her face, fucking telling her, oh no, you can't come do Christmas with us because you're this little kid. No, it was because Lynette Preston and John Cook were not allowed to fucking be there. They could have had a family member, they could have had a family friend that could have taken that child and went there and she would have been accepted and it would have been fine. But they keep propagating this bullshit fucking lie that somehow they were just picking on this fucking kid. Get the fuck out of here. I'm so sick of their goddamn bullshit and lies and all the fucking idiots that are just eating it up and going along with it. But that's my 2 cents worth. Take what you will.
The chat's loving you, man. They've got animosity towards you.
Well, goddamn, it's like beating your head against a fucking wall. And with those fucking morons, you'd get farther beating your head against a fucking wall than trying to talk to those fucking idiots. Absolutely. They don't know their ass from a fucking hole in the ground.
But they're big YouTube stars now. Fuck. I mean, and this is one of those the problems that you do run into in this space, and a lot of people don't understand that is you're welcome to have an opinion of how people act and how people react and how people are, and to be righteously outraged. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a normal human reaction, and for them to sit there and promote child abuse, for them to sit there and promote these kinds of vile acts being committed on other people is not something that's appropriate.
No. And especially directly, like I said, right there, in just sending it out as a general blanket to the veteran community as a whole. Oh, well, they're trying to skirt around it. Oh, well, we didn't say him specifically. It doesn't fucking matter. You fucking said it. You directed it at veterans. Yeah. Because of veterans that don't agree with you or aren't going to go along with your bullshit. And telling them to stick a shotgun in their mouth and commit self-fucking harm. Are you fucking kidding me?
They do that. And
you're out of your goddamn mind.
For them never to receive any repercussion for it. That is something that YouTube will eventually, whenever they look into it, they will go after it. And then of course it becomes very, very different situation at that point. You remind me of my brother Yamaha. Love this about you, Susie. Thanks for the coverage. Well, this is why I bring people in besides myself, because it's easier for me to allow Yamaha to vent out and give himself a little bit of space to do that. Because if I start going off, oh my lord, mic drop moments with Yamaha. Yes. And I've gotten pretty upset about quite a few things, and when I get the problem is when I get upset, I get very quiet. that's the problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, yeah, I'm annoyed. It's got me annoyed, but yeah, I mean, we've talked about that. Yeah, yeah. If I'm really pissed off, yeah, chances are I'm not going to be saying anything. But
no.
So if I'm yelling like this, it's just because I'm fucking annoyed. All right.
Right. He's slightly bothered.
But rightfully so, in my opinion, especially when you're talking about self-harm or this shit when it comes to them spewing their bullshit and using that child as a fucking shield. Every time they feel attacked, or Lynette Preston they feel is being attacked, they want to throw that child up as a shield while continuing to throw their own bullshit downrange at other people. It's fucking ridiculous.
It is a very constant throwing.
Yeah, especially for kids.
Range.
Because I've dealt with that shit. I've seen it. I put kids into body bags. I've scraped up what's left of kids. I've run codes on kids. So yeah, kids are a very special place in my heart, and they're the hardest ones to get over with. Adults, teenagers, a lot of times, unfortunately, the reality is they get themselves involved in these situations and get themselves ended or what have you. There are very few and I'm not saying in all circumstances, but there are very few adults and even teenagers, and don't give me this horse shit about, oh, well, their brains aren't fully developed until they're 26, whatever. When I was fucking 13, 12, 14 years old, I knew some of the stupid shit that I was doing could get me ended or get me into serious fucking legal trouble, and I didn't care. I did it anyway.
Exactly.
So it's not that they don't know the fucking difference, but they are the ones that in the vast majority of times get themselves involved in these situations. But the little kids, the infants, you get a fucking mother who decides after putting their 16-year-old or their 16-month-old baby into a fucking bathtub that at that moment in time, oh no, it's a better idea to go in the other room and smoke meth. And then when she comes to, wondering why now we got a fucking floater and we're busting our asses, killing ourselves, knowing that there's no good outcome in this for over an hour trying to save this fucking kid. Shit like that. Daily, on the fucking daily, year after year after year, day after day after day, seeing and dealing with this shit and seeing these red flags and seeing these signs of people just like this using a fucking child.
Yes.
That's where this shit comes from.
Yes.
And I don't give a good goddamn about their fucking feelings. They're all about these fucking feelings. They're a bunch of lefty fucking loons. Oh, you're hurting feelings. Oh, we're going to sue you because of our... I give a fuck about your goddamn feelings. Fuck you, because reality doesn't give a fuck about your feelings.
The child could have went this year since Jeremy and George were not even there in town to Christmas this year. Well, the child has been welcome each and every time that they've had Christmas. It's not all of a sudden some new thing that the child is welcome again.
Your mic is starting to dip out again, man.
Oh, give me just a second. I will be right back.
Yeah. But damn, yeah. Wow. I got a little bit of that off my chest there a little bit. Yeah, I feel a little better about that. No, make no mistake about it. It's not that I'm some freaking wacko just absolutely angry and all that. I mean, it's upsetting. Don't get me wrong. It is upsetting for me. But it's not that I'm to that point of being pissed off. But yeah, it's just it's fucking annoying. It's upsetting. It's anyway.
Yes, Yamaha's avatar fits him absolutely perfectly, and we have retired Staff Sergeant Gardner says, "Thank you, Yamaha. Thank you again for standing up for the honorable vets out here." Absolutely.
Yeah,
you have to understand that both Yamaha and I are both vets, and I served as in the National Guard. I never served in any war. I've never been shipped off anywhere. Yamaha has seen a hell of a lot more than I have. And his, it shows. It shows. It really does.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just bury that shit deep, and then something like this happens where you get pieces of shit like this that say or are doing the shit that they're saying and doing, and it just, yeah. Yeah.
It does. And we all understand it. What was this? This child could have went this year. Yeah, that I already covered that one. Thank you very much. No, this is so very true. That a lot of people don't understand that there's lots of Megan sent us to you. Yes, we know Megan is awesome.
Welcome,
thank you very
everybody.
much, Kathy.
I didn't know they were.
No, it is it is trigger warning. No, there's a lot of so the mic clear up. I'm opening it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. No, you're doing okay. I'm just kind of
No, there's you have to understand that there's a lot of people out there worried and concerned. And whenever you're seeing Jeremy talk about these things, he's trying to do it in the most gentle way that he possibly can, because YouTube is part of his business. I mean, if you think about this, and a lot of people don't understand this, YouTube is just a small part of what Jeremy does. He uses YouTube to help promote his other businesses that he's doing. He makes videos of what's going on in his life. You don't have to like Jeremy,
right?
But you have to respect what he's doing. Does that make sense? Yeah. He's doing this for his own safety. It's at this point, everything that he records, he's doing it for his own protection. Whenever you see him driving down the road with his camera out the freaking window, he's doing it for his own protection, because you don't know what that unhinged person is going to do that lives right next door to you. And
Now,
they
I will
make-
say one thing about that. In that, because so many different places, that could be considered distracted driving by holding onto your camera like that. So it would behoove him or anyone if you were to unfortunately find yourself in circumstances like this, to actually have mounted cameras, whether out the side or, the front of your vehicle, rear of your vehicle, what have you, because that could potentially, in all honesty and reality, just playing devil's advocate here, that could potentially be an issue. Don't be holding your cameras while you're driving. That's just, I'm just stating that.
Yep. Well, Jeremy is a hustler for business and damn sure protecting 6 with filming. Yes. And I mean, I think that's what it was. I would have something to bounce up on there. The worst call for any first responder who goes on a child, been there too many times from the sound of it, just like Yamaha. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, she's a Yamaha biker and all who served. No, it's I never know how to respond to that. You're welcome. I guess. I mean,
yeah, you get that, and we've talked about that before. Yeah, for me, it's awkward. You've got some of the big box stores or wherever, even some of the mom and pops places, and they'll do veteran or they'll do first responder discounts, and they've got your info on file, or you show them your card or whatever, and that's typically one of the first things that you get, and it's just a reaction for most of them. Oh, thank you for your service. I still don't know really how to take that. Most of the time, it's hard for me to say thank you because it was just doing my fucking job. I'm nothing special. I'm nobody special. I'm no fucking hero on any level.
Exactly.
It was just doing my job. And it's hard for me to say, oh, yeah, sit there and puff my chest out or whatever. And, oh, yeah, you're welcome, blah, blah, blah. So usually my response typically is just that. I was just doing my job. Yeah. I don't know. It's still weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same way with my grandfather. I mean, I didn't really understand it, growing up, but seeing that he had, a box of medals that my other cousin had put into a box, and my grandfather immediately put the box in a drawer and kept it put away. He didn't view it as, I mean, you should talk about a guy that had 2 Purple Hearts and was a Silver Cross, and just like this whole box of medals. My grandfather's like, I mean, I was just doing my job.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it until I got in the military. That it was like, oh, yeah. I mean, it really is. You're just doing your job from the time that you get up, to the time you go to sleep. You're there doing your time, kind of thing.
And, and a lot of guys will do that. You'll see it, whether on YouTube, whoever. I'm not going to say any specific names or anything, but you'll see guys on YouTube, or even like my father-in-law, they have shadow boxes.
Yeah.
I don't have shadow boxes because I don't need to look at that shit. I know where I've been. I know what I don't have shadow boxes and a bunch of stuff around like that. I don't do that. Some people do. And whatever. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. But yeah, I don't need to see it.
No, never. I don't keep any of the awards that I got in the military. I don't hang on. I put that stuff away a long time ago.
They're all in boxes up in the attic. I mean, except for when I pulled out that beret, because everybody was bugging me about that and what. So I was like, okay, fine. And I couldn't find the other parts. It's got to be up there somewhere. But anyway, so I fucking dusted that thing. I pulled it out of the box, I dusted that off, and took the picture and sent it to him. Blah blah blah. And of course, now everybody wants to say the blueberry berets and all that, but whatever. It just kind of goes with it, you know.
It does.
Hey,
It does.
whatever. I had no say. That's what I got stuck doing that. So whatever.
Well, and I'm not going to belinger on this, but as we've gone through this deposition, it's this is something that I don't think that Bubbles was expecting to happen, that we would be allowed to see these depositions, that these things would be brought out to the rest of the world, because it destroys all of their narrative. And they were not looking for that. They were not expecting that to be allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And they fought it tooth and nail to have it not be allowed. If not for you, all this country wouldn't be as safe as it is. And thank you for the smallest gesture I can offer. My man was 82nd Airborne. Well, thank you for his service.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, it's your dad was a disabled vet, served 30 years and had a bronze medal, was extremely patriotic. He taught me to say thank you and show respect to other veterans. It's hard for me not to say it. Well, we have a hard time responding to it. I mean, but thank you. I mean,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But here's the whenever we see these kinds of things that come up in this kind of in this space, you have to understand that we are upset by it. And we're not trying to wash it under the rug. We deal with it with a really shitty sense of humor. We've really wanted to hit this with the shittiest sense of humor. It bothers us to a very extreme, because one, children are involved. And if you know anything about my channel, it's just like I have no objection with somebody being suffering under the what do they call it, the penal code of justice. I have no problem with that happening. But whenever you start getting kids involved in it, it really disturbs me quite a bit, because I've seen where these things end up, and I will say that there is something on the other side of that. So if there's somebody in one of these positions, just know, even if they're young and they're going, everything just looks completely lost, and it's not at all. There's something beyond, the situation which you're currently in, and it just reach out to somebody. That's the best thing I can say.
Yeah.
Reach out to somebody, and they if they're a true friend, and that help comes, and there's a way to move past these bad situations, which I know this child is not in the greatest situation, and it pisses me off that there's nothing that I can physically do to take care of that or alleviate that problem. But at some point in time, that child will find its way. I have to hope for that constantly. I just have to constantly hope for it. I can't put it any better than that. I really wish I could. When it all flaps, you just did. Being a Nam-era vet, oh my gosh. Being a Nam-era vet,
I forget. When did you say you got out? Yeah, because he was in during that time. You got out in, when did you get out? 76? I'm trying to remember. It was like a week or so ago. I think you said something about that, like in 76.
Oh, geez.
76? 78? 76? Something like that. Yeah, so he's... Yeah, he's in the category of like Iron Rabbit.
Yeah.
She was a Vietnam vet.
Yeah. Yeah, she was 76. She served as an MP. Yeah, 76.
Yeah.
Yep. I And I mean, my brother was, whenever he enlisted in the military, he was right on the edge, and they were already bringing people home. Whenever he finished up basic training, they were just like, yeah, we're pulling out.
Hmm.
So he would have been sent over there at a young age too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was got your and I will say that I had a, what would it be, a step uncle. It was from one of my mother's marriages that my step cousins, they talked about, yeah, their father would do, he was an open, on the road trucker. He would drive trucks because he couldn't stay at home. He just couldn't stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
The things that he saw and done, and the pictures that I've seen, I'm just like, man, how can anybody like come back from that? But he did. I mean, he lived a very long, healthy life. People say thank you because you did the job we can't do, the hard things, and we appreciate it. Just take it as it is. It's from the heart. We know it is from the heart. That's the thing. We know it's from the heart. We know that there's not any ill will. It's just it's one of those things.
And that's one thing that I've found too, and that it is, everybody deals with those kinds of things differently. But here's the one thing that I would impart on people that potentially, because I don't know all the age group in here and what everybody, I mean, I know some of the people, but as far as for lines of work or how old they are, and there's some people out there that may be potentially thinking about going into public safety, for instance, whether law enforcement, EMS, or being a nurse. Maybe you've just started out or whatever. One of the things that I've found out in all of that is a lot of times you get some of these younger people that go in with this idea that they're going to be a hero. They're going to save everybody. And the reality is no, you're not. No. If you are involved in public safety, you're a nurse. At some point in time, intentional or otherwise, you're going to be involved in the death of somebody. And you need to wrap your head around that right now. Whether it's NICU, whether it's ICU, whether it's ER, fire, EMS, law enforcement, even the military. Yeah. At some point in time, something is going to happen. And you need to wrap your head around that right now, because you are not. And that's where I've seen a lot of people turn to alcohol and to drugs and ruin their careers, get into legal trouble, ruin their marriages, because they try and go the route. Alcohol and other drugs aren't going to help. They don't. Right. They're a horrible Band-Aid. Because that shit's going to come out one way or another. You need to wrap your head around that right now. If you're thinking about getting involved in that, or you've just got involved in that, maybe a couple of years, you need to get that right in your head. And you got to figure out how you're going to deal with that. That's up to each individual. Right. But you need to make sure it's done in a positive way. Otherwise, I'm telling you, it's going to fucking eat you alive. Every single time, especially when it comes to kids, it will take a little piece of you every fucking time. Yes. And you got to know how to deal with that.
Exactly. And if you don't know how to deal with it, there are professionals that will help you.
Yes.
Learn how to deal with that.
And you're going to run into those situations where you're trying to, but there are some people that just don't want to be saved. And you have to be able to wrap your head around that too. It's a normal response to do Monday morning quarterbacking, to rethink these things. And, is there something that I could have done or said differently? Should I have done this? Should I have done that? But you can't let it consume you either.
Exactly.
So, and that's just my opinion. That's just my experience of things that I've seen and so forth, and how I've seen other people allow it to affect them. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, there is a time and a place to deal with those kind of things. You don't want to be trying to deal with those while you're right in the middle of working on saving someone's life. That's why whenever you run into these situations, that you address them as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And know that there are professionals out there. I'm no professional
Mhm.
in anything except for being an idiot. That you should talk to if you're running into these situations.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is hitting close that time that
About that
I'm
time.
gonna shut
Yeah.
this bad boy down. I do want to thank everybody
Yeah.
has come by tonight. What do you think of the schedule?
Thanks,
You
everybody.
know, I
It's fine. I'm liking it. We can wait and see. Wait and see how it goes for you. And I mean, it's your show, so it's up to you. I think there are a lot of people that have that are kind of night owls, vampires,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yes,
So
we have some of the best people out here. I mean,
Yeah.
the chat is what keeps us.
Yeah.
It is it's closing time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is one of those where I'm trying to get myself regulated into a different sleep schedule, work schedule. I will be doing a stream tomorrow morning, of course, because that's what I do.
Mhm.
Streams in the morning, and I just covered the news. Like this morning was pretty much one topic, and I was fine with that, because Jimmy Carter was a piece of shit. As a president,
Right.
um,
Right. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. He was not-
as a president, he was pretty
Still better than
pretty
Biden. I think old Sniffy Joe's going to probably go down as one of the worst that we've ever had in history, if not the worst. So but yeah. Anyway,
Well, exactly. No, I mean, that is it is one of those where I'm happy to do my morning streams. I've moved those up because I was doing those at, oh good God, 6:30 in the morning, which I'm still waking up that early. It's just
yeah, right.
just I need to I'll be readjusting my schedule. My wife, talking with her today, she was just like, so you're what? I was just like, we talked about this. She was like, yeah, I just didn't think you were doing that this week. And I was just like, no, I'm doing this while I don't have work to worry about. I'm going to do it just like I would be doing for a regular work day, because I want my schedule to work. Damn it. I want it to work for me, and I want it to work for everybody else around.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and everybody, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for listening to my little rant there. It was.
No, you were spot on. You couldn't have gotten any better at doing that. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
To, Shizzy and Yamaha.
Happy New
Thank
Year,
you, Natalie
everybody.
Baker.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy New Year. And I will be doing, I will also, not only will I be doing one in the morning, I will also be doing one tomorrow. Probably looking at about 8 to 10, something like that. So I'll probably be doing a couple hour stream, and it's going to be a little lighthearted. I'll probably have a few guests that come in, and we'll just have a nice celebration.
Little New Year's, yeah.
Little New Year's, and if Diva comes by, we'll do a little bit of reading through that. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Everybody have a wonderful night, and I will see you guys in the morning. Peace.
Thanks, everybody.
Ooh, ah.
Hey guys, throw some corn cobs